Live from the VVR studios in downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Howdy ho, everybody.
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Posers were people that look like punks, but they did it for fashion, and they were fools.
And they couldn't play.
What movie was that from? I'll give you a bonus point if you know that.
Dave?
I don't know.
It's Airheads.
No, SLC Punk.
Oh, SLC Punk.
I only saw it once.
I made him watch that one too. So
I've seen it a couple of times. As always, the mission of the show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, where can listeners find this fine podcast?
We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen, like, subscribe, and share, and tell a friend about us. If you don't like us, tell your enemies. You can find us on all our social medias. We are on Instagram at VVR Podcast Insta. We are on Facebook at Violent Vinyl Podcast. And we are on YouTube at Violent Vinyl Radio. Check us out.
And if you'd like to help the show grow and support us, you can go over to our merch store at vvr.printify, printify.me, where you can buy a snazzy Violent Vinyl Radio t-shirt or a Violent Vinyl Radio mug. Head over to our YouTube channel, go into the shorts section, and you can see yours truly modeling said merch.
Printify me, baby.
Right, that's right. Maybe we make a little song for that, Dave, me and you. Let's head over to the mailbag. I'm going to get us started. So, Henning actually left me some voicemails, not even emails. So I got to hear the famous Henning. It was awesome. I got to hear some like ambient noise from Germany, like little scooters, beep, 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 and like whatever else is going on in Germany. It was like all going on.
Guten Tag.
Yes, he had a very, very heavy German accent, which was very cool. Just sounds like a really, really nice guy. So Henning, got your messages. We've talked back and forth a couple of times. He is going to get me the track for the melting pot of his band from back in the day. And he's going to get me that on Friday, and we're going to get that on the show. I will save all of the details of Henning and his band and, you know, why he retired and all of that stuff when we get to that.
what he said about, did you hear what he said about what was happening in Germany when he recorded our voicemail?
Oktoberfest?
No.
In July?
No. They're having a heat wave. And he said it's 44 degrees there. Do you know what that is in America?
That's like America. It's like
America, fuck yeah!
95 or
It's
something, maybe?
111.
America?
Wow, that's really hot.
It's really hot.
Oh,
And Germany doesn't like get that
wow.
hot. So
It's hot here today.
yeah, Europe's having a massive heat wave right now.
The world is having a massive heat wave. So this is going to be a really, really hot
It's
summer.
having
They're
a
saying
hot
it's going to be
flash.
a really hot. Hey, getting your VVR weather report is that with the El Nino, you can expect a very hot summer and an even hotter winter. Thank you very much. Story time. So
Go buy some air conditioners.
yeah, go buy some air conditioners, get a Slurpee. I sold my Mini Cooper, which was a 6-speed standard. So, you know, you set the emergency brake every time you park the car because it's a stick. And I bought a Black Dodge Charger, which is an automatic. So you no longer have to set the emergency brake. But I did some research, and for all of you out there with a automatic vehicle, you should set the emergency brake because there's a little device in your transmission that holds the car still when you put it into park. And it puts unnecessary strain on your transmission, which I didn't know. So I told Delyn about this, and she's been setting hers. And we left to go to the store today, and she's like, the car's fucking running funny. And it's like, beep, beep, beep. It's driving with the emergency brake on, right? So, because, you know, you don't set it with an automatic, so you just forget, right? Oh yeah. So all right. So
And
this
is
leads
not
into
for
my
an
story.
automatic
So I'm not going
car,
to.
right? This is just for a
That's
manual
for an
car.
automatic.
It's not for an automatic car.
No.
Right? Okay.
No, it's for an automatic.
It's actually recommended. It's
Oh,
recommended
I
for
don't
an
do that.
automatic for an automatic car. When
Nobody does.
When I had driver's ed in high school, that's actually how they taught us
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
to set the parking brake every time.
Yes. When you get to the parking spot, you keep it in drive. You push the brake down, and then you put the parking brake on, and then you put it in neutral and shut the car off. You do chance forgetting that the emergency brake is on, though. So just
Yep.
because you've been doing it your whole life, not shutting it off. So you start using this habit, you could fuck yourself, right? So, yes. So today, Dylan was like, you need to tell the story about the Reaper. Okay. So I got a story for you. So I was working for a painting company back in probably the mid 90s. And I worked with a guy, and his nickname was the Reaper. And he had a giant tattoo of a Grim Reaper on his chest. And he was 6'9", and he was not someone to be fucked with. He was a very serious individual who, I don't even know if he should share this, but I'm pretty sure he killed his wife with a hammer and went to prison. But whether that's true or not,
Allegedly.
I don't know, but allegedly. But regardless, so we're working, and I didn't have my car this day, and I needed to go home. And my house was probably about 10 miles from the site we were working at. And he had just bought a brand new white Monte Carlo. He had saved up. He just first day with this car, automatic. And he says, go ahead, you can take the car home. So I get in the car and I drive it all the way back to my house from the apartment complex. And I get there and I get out of the car, and the right wheel is glowing red like the sun. I'm talking molten lava red. Like, I couldn't believe the tire wasn't on fire. So I panic. I'm like, holy fucking shit, the emergency brake has been on this entire time.
Oh my
So
God.
I take a bucket of cold water and I pour it on the hub, and it goes crack. It's the loudest crack noise ever. It cools off. I drive it back. Everything's fine. Never got caught for doing it.
Wow.
Shit my fucking diaper. I thought this guy was going to take my head off, but nope, I got away with it.
And he like
Until now.
when you said you heard a crack, like obviously nothing severe went wrong if he never noticed that something was wrong. That's wild.
Yeah, I'm assuming the crack was just from cooling the hot metal down way too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the metal like twisting and warping.
That's wild.
The metal twisted. Yeah, I don't believe he is still alive, which is why I dare to tell this story. Yeah. But holy shit. So there you go, kids. Set your emergency brake at your own risk. I won't be doing it. I'm going to chance the car's transmission parking. So there you go. Dave, did you get any email this week?
We got a little bit. Nothing on Instagram. So get following, get commenting. Ben Brooks did send in an old Touch Me Hooker press photo, checking to see if it was the right band. He sent this message a while back, but because of the Instagram's weird messaging format, I just saw it today. So I wrote,
Was it me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wrote back to him and I verified it was indeed Dez on the right with the green and purple hair. And it was our friend Pink out in the front with the giant pink hair that we mention from time to time.
And Sean Martello.
Yeah, that's true. Sean Martello was in there too.
Yep.
And the great Joey Blaney, who did. I'm still waiting for your fucking song, dude.
So over on Facebook, welcome aboard to Michael Burke, Diana, and Emmanuel. On Spotify, Ben was over there too, and he says about our Nirvana episode, some facts here. Courtney's handwriting is on his death note. When Kurt was found, he had his shoes on. You can't pull a trigger on a shotgun with your feet with shoes on. And too much heroin was found in his system. Also, I believe Courtney killed him with a hitman. Thanks, Ben. And Courtney, if you're listening, the opinions expressed in that email are Ben Brooks's and his only. So, so please, if you're sending a murder squad, he is at 123 Main Street in Walla Walla, Washington. Sorry, Ben. Got to keep Courtney off our trail. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we got to throw some jeers at YouTube for nuking our Nirvana episode. We tried, but no matter what we did, it was not able to pass their content censorship.
No.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
Yeah, Dave just said, maybe we should take the music out and put it up. And honestly, I just don't want to present the show in that way. Like somebody could come and listen to it for the first time on YouTube, the Nirvana episode, and there's no music, and it just doesn't work as good. So that's why we opted not to put it up.
Yeah. Courtney Love has her grubby hands in YouTube, and it's connected all the way down, I tell you.
Yeah, she has dirty fingernails.
We put up a placeholder video with Des explaining the situation. So if you missed the show on YouTube, please check it out on one of the other spots. Randy the Slayer wrote in response, I don't want to listen to Spotify. I can't make dumb comments there.
Randy.
We hear you, Randy. Feel free to leave 2 comments next time over on YouTube. And finally, Kim also wrote in recommending we check out the Cadaver Dogs performing a song called Voodoo Drug Sluts. Great title. Love it. Yeah. We will take a listen. So maybe we should put them on as a melting pot band. I don't know. All right. Well, that's it for me in the mailbag. Lisa, you got anything else?
So I didn't get too much because not only were we nuked on YouTube, but we also put our episode out late. And all of us slacked on our promotion of the episode. I didn't promote it until like midweek last week.
I wasn't going to mention that. I want people knowing I'm such a slacker.
No, and it showed in the numbers.
It did, yeah. Well, I think it also didn't help that it was Nirvana, which, is not our core audience, to be fair.
No, it was a bad
But I
choice.
know still that like Kim and Eric and Lisa Bella were waiting for the episode to come out. So I'm sorry I couldn't shut up for 4 hours, and that was a problem. Kim did tell us, though, and I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about this yet. Remember how you said, whose left-handed guitars were that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, she wanted to clarify something. The guitars are actually not left-handed guitars. She took a selfie, so it reversed. So all the guitars are actually right-handed guitars.
Oh, good. So he plays normal.
He plays normal.
Excellent.
He's got lots of guitars, and bass guitars and amps, and he has a trombone as well.
Ooh, is it rusty?
I don't know. I know he plays trombone too, right? You have a trumpet though, right? Don't you?
I used to. I sold it
all right.
years ago.
And Kim says, of course, she has that old Gibson that we were talking about on the last episode, and she has a clarinet.
Sweet.
Which was my first concert instrument as well. So I also have my clarinet.
they can start a marching band over at Kim's house.
They could. She also gave us another idea for an episode. She wants us, the 3 of us, to do an episode of us driving to Tennessee for a road trip and what happens on the road with how Des can't deal with it, essentially. So,
if Lisa and Dave had to spend that much time in a car with me, the show would be over. They'd be like cats trying to get out of the car.
Yeah.
I need to stop for a cigarette.
Yeah. I did enjoy listening to Henning's messages, though. He has a very posh accent.
Doesn't he? And he seems like such a nice guy. Like, just unbelievable.
Great really English, too. I mean, he speaks at least 2 languages, maybe more.
Yeah,
so.
Better than my German.
Better, maybe.
Yes. Das.
So.
Das Boot.
Yeah, Henning, I understood you perfectly. I didn't think your accent was thick at all. I think it was very posh. So
yeah, no pressure, Henning. No pressure at all. I just want to play your songs. You're such a great listener. I just want to play your song for you. That's all.
Cool. That's all I got.
All right. Let's head over to the VVR melting pot. So as you know, we are trying to share music from independent bands and songwriters. This week, we got a submission from Scuzzy Eddie. This guy's from New Hampshire, right?
They are from New Hampshire. So we always call them or at least I do. I call them a local band. Not really local to us because they are from Troy, New Hampshire, which is about 2 hours from our area. Although they do play all over New Hampshire, all over New England, really, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. everywhere. And of course, it's right next to the big college town, Keene, up there, which is where my bestie lives and where my sister went to college. So we're kind of out there.
Where
quite a
I
bit.
bought my latest Telecaster.
Yeah, where Dave bought his latest guitar out there too.
Keene, New Hampshire?
Yeah.
What's funny about Keene, New Hampshire is we have this story that me and Delynn, she says it all the time. So I raced motocross at the track in Keene one year, and it's a 2-moto format. So I had got first place in the first moto, and in the second moto, the gate dropped, but I tried to jump the gate. Like I tried to get the jump on it, to get the whole shot, and I hit the gate, and my bike got stuck in the gate as everybody just went down and went into the first turn. I'm struggling to get my bike out of the gate, and I ended up getting a 5th in that moto, and I ended up getting 4th overall, and I missed the trophy by 1 position. And it's 20 years later, I'm still bitching about it. So she's always like, yeah, the time you hit the gate at Canaan, we all fucking know about it.
We've seen some fail videos recently of people doing those races, and maybe the gate not coming down all the way, and everybody gets stuck in the gate and flips over. Yeah, terrible stuff. Looks painful.
I have a video of me breaking my arm, actually. And my buddy was videotaping me hitting this enormous double at a local track. It was fucking huge. Like, probably I shouldn't have been jumping. It was a little above my pay grade, but I was hitting it and I was doing well. And I came around, he stopped with the video camera. And I said, he goes, "You're doing good." I go, "No broken bones." And I hit it and I came up short, and I didn't crash, but I hit the face of the landing so hard I snapped my wrist.
Oh my God. You jinxed yourself.
Yep. Spent the whole summer in a cast. It sucked.
Oh, God. So funny that you say they're from New Hampshire. The way that they introduce themselves online is they say, Scuzzy Yeti from the deep, dark woods of New Hampshire. So, yeah, it is a little rural out there, I would say that.
After listening to it, I would have never guessed this was a local band because I didn't know anything about them. I looked into it after I listened to the track. I thought, from the sound of the recording, I thought they were a bigger band.
I've seen them play. I can't count how many times, honestly. This was one of my bestie's favorite bands to go see. And she would often add them to, lineups that we didn't have enough bands on because she wanted to see them. So,
I have several opinions about this song and this band.
So go ahead, Dave.
No, I was going to say I mixed them several times at Kodo, probably, I think, in both Salem, Mass, and probably Lowell, Mass, too.
Spoiler alert, the singer is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Phenomenal. I fucking love this guy's voice.
So the original name for the band, which was created by one of the guitarists, was Fuzzy Yeti.
I like Scuzzy better.
Yeah, and Josh decided it needed a little more teeth. A little more grr.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
So I would characterize them, and whenever I talk to them, I always say that they're a doom metal band. A lot of people hear maybe progressive metal. I hear that too. They actually characterize themselves as a stoner metal, which is kind of like mixing psychedelic 70s music with really heavy metal. And I don't want to call it thrash, although there is a member of the band who has a thrash background. It's in that arena. Very, very dark, very heavy music.
It's so fun you said that. I can't wait to read my notes now.
Yeah. So the vocalist that you mentioned, his name is Chris Wells. They actually, Scuzzy Yeti had another singer as their original singer, and they played one show with him, and they were like, nope. And they started looking around for a new guy, and they found Chris singing in another band on YouTube. So a local guy. So they went out to the band's next show to see him and kind of poach him from that band, which is exactly what they did. The band the band he was singing in was Therium, which actually was really great as well. But I'm glad they kind of stole him away. You can still see Therium's live shows on YouTube as well.
And I went and listened to this band live. I watched a couple of live shows from this band, Scuzzy Yeti, on YouTube. And it's so rare that you hear a singer's, studio work, and then you go listen to him live and it sounds like almost the same. Like, this guy's a great singer.
Well, I'm going to explain a little bit about why that is here in a minute. So the one of the guitarists' name is Brad Decatur. And actually the rest of the guys in the band, other than the singer, are all childhood friends. right? They all grew up kind of in the Troy area. Brad had a band called Flawed, FLAWD, where Jay Lawrence, who's the other guitarist, was also in that band, playing bass. This was like a doom progressive band as well, along the lines of Scuzzy Yeti, sort of, but I would say that they were more 70s. And Jay actually played violin in that band as well. So, yeah, occasionally, not exclusively. This guy, this Brad guy, actually, he's I don't want to call him the rhythm guitarist, as if it needs to be like said like that, but he plays with a lot of co-guitarists. He plays he uses a lot of effects on his guitars. So he uses, and you'll understand this, the synth, the synth pedals, to make the guitar sound a little more like synth.
Sure.
Right,
Dave, that's what I was telling you about, that thing that Nick used to have on his Stratocaster, that like he could make it sound like horns or like horn sections or whatever he wanted. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can put a Roland pickup on your guitar and plug it into an actual synth,
Right?
Or you can just patch your guitar through a synth pedal, and it's a little different sound, but it's also cool.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in being a rhythm guitar player, Lisa.
No, I'm not saying
was a rhythm
that.
guitar player.
I'm not saying that, but if you see them live, you'll definitely I would call Jason the lead because he's playing the solos, but like they both have a huge part of this music. So, and he's taller. Speaking of Yetis, he's very, very tall with very, very long hair and a very, very long beard. So
there you go. He's a Yeti.
Take that for what it will. Yeah.
Proof. Get a picture of him. Send him to the
Exactly.
Y files.
Yeah. So a funny fact about Brad is that he has like this giant pedal board because he does all these synth effects. And the only thing I thought of was the guy at Kodo who had the pedal board that was on a door.
Yeah, that I took a picture of, and
What?
I mixed a show one night where a guy came in. He had a pedal board that was so big it looked like it was on a door, or like like one of those plastic picnic tables that you set up at your garage sale. It looks like it was on that. And all the pedals were stuck to this thing, and I was like, it took up the entire stage at Kodo. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. But whatever. I mean, what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
Great. That's great. And he was using like just one of the pedals.
Like 2 out of 40.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm just the guy setting up the mics, whatever.
So Jason, who I just mentioned, Jason Lawrence, he plays all the leads. He's the other guitar player. And he used to be in a band called Scrog, which was a stoner metal band, more I want to say more traditional rock and roll stoner metal. Scrog. So do you know what Scrog means? Because I didn't know this.
Of course. A
Death
scrog, a scrog is a native bullfrog to the Amazon jungle. No?
It's silly.
No.
Nope.
Okay. You guys give up. Okay. So fine. Give up. So this is New Hampshire slang, and it actually means to fuck. So you would say, I scrogged my girlfriend.
Ew. Okay.
I never heard this before.
I thought it was an acronym like scuba.
No. Scrog with 2 G's. So there's
I got
another
Scrog.
band, Scrog with 1 G. It's not them. So
I scrogged yesterday.
yeah.
Scrog
So this
the
was
wife.
this is like Southern stoner blues rock. They actually had a demo called Raw Heat and a full-length album called Blues that is still available out there if you want to get that. Unfortunately, they broke in 2016 when the singer moved to New Orleans, and that's when Jason moved on to essentially to create Scuzzy Yeti. But while in Scuzzy Yeti, he also had a band called Veil End, which we've also seen a lot play.
Yeah.
They started in 2021, and of course, Jason was a founding member. But fun fact, his son Jamie Lawrence is the drummer in that band. So he and his friend Jay Kuntz, who's also in the band, were kind of just playing together and decided to have this, I want to call it a side project. And his son Jamie was playing in a band called Kennedy Drive, and they broke up. So it was like just good timing that they came up with this band, Veil End. Now, Jay did leave the band recently, Veil End, but they are still going on. They do have a new bass player, but Jamie, his son, is still in the band. And they just came back from a pretty sizable tour around the northern Midwest, I guess.
Cool.
So they're still out there playing. And I was thinking it's a weird dynamic to have a father and a son in a band at the same time. And I was trying to come up with an example. And the only one I could think of was like Wolfgang and Eddie Van Halen
Yep.
playing together.
That was the only one that came to
Comes
my
to
brain.
mind.
But
Yeah.
that was more like Eddie was kind of fading out at that point, and Wolfgang was there to kind of like boost him up. I think it wasn't really planned that way, essentially, right? It was like to introduce Wolfgang to the world. But
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like that's a strange dynamic, but he says it helped them a bit because, you know, he taught his son how to play drums and guitar for that matter. So they kind of already had a connection, I would say. So
Sure.
yeah, it was easy to play.
That's cool.
So the bass player in Scuzzy Yeti is Wayne Munson, another childhood friend, and like and I'll just keep saying this. They all learned how to play their instruments together, right? So they all kind of, you know, did guitar. You know, they all played drums. They all played bass. So Wayne actually was in the thrash world. So he had a thrash metal band as things were coming up before they formed Scuzzy Yeti. So I think he's bringing in that speed, you know, behind them as well. And then there was Josh Turnbull on drums. Another childhood friend. He's coming from the jam world. So like jazz and bands like Fish, like improvisation.
We won't hold that against it.
I think that Josh's input into this band took it from a heavier thrash metal band into more of a stoner psychedelic band when they got the like improvisation stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
You
to
know,
get any
so-
thrash out of this.
So they started in 2016, so they've been together 10 years already. They have a new album, which is already complete, but they're mixing it right now, so they haven't released it yet. Their first album is called Ruined. You can find that online. We'll tell you where in a minute. But their second album, they don't have a name for it yet, and I found it interesting. For each of their albums, the last one and this one that's coming, it's taken them 2 years of writing and you know, putting together the songs to actually finish the album. So they gave themselves a lot of space. And what they do is they write these songs, and then at their live shows, they test these songs out on their audience. So the audience has kind of heard these songs that are going to be on the album, and they watch the audience's reaction and tune the song and change it based on that. So
That's cool.
Sure.
It's like test filming, like showing your movie to test audiences before you complete it and put it out.
yeah. Right. So that album should come out, you know, late fall, early winter. They're still playing all over New England. They have an upcoming show, I think, at Kodo. I believe it's in October. I can't remember what the date is. They practice all the time, like multiple times a week. Dave.
Yeah.
I'm teasing him because his bands haven't been practicing a lot lately. So,
Fucking suck.
and a fun fact about, you know, the album that we're hearing now, this is from the album Ruin, the song we're about to hear, is that the way that they record is they actually record live. So like all 5 of them playing together, they record live, and then they take those tracks and they mix them later. And that might be why, Des, you mentioned that when you hear them, he sounds the same live that he does on the album. Well, they're playing live for the album. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a matchup.
Keep that energy up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
So-
there. It's there. All right. You want to spin it?
Let's spin it.
All right. Coming to you hot from the VVR melting pot, I present to you Vortex. All right, nice job, guys. That is really good. So I'll get us started. So I love 70s psychedelic mood rock like Pink Floyd. Like I listen to that shit all the time at work. And I also love Chris Cornell and Dio for singers. So this track definitely did not disappoint. I listened to it on Saturday after taking a hash caramel edible, and I just laid back on the couch and I fucking loved it. We get this nice long intro of sweeping psychedelic mood music, complete with these busy drums, full of great fills, with this perfect, super fuzzy, heavy guitar layered on top of all of it. I thought it sounded great. And as I was falling under the spell of this music, I began to think I was going to be listening to an instrumental. I was like, oh, maybe there's no vocals on this. It's just going to be an instrumental. Boy, was I wrong, because we get these incredibly good vocals and lyrics that had the flavor of one of my favorite singers, Chris Cornell. If you had told me this was like an old Soundgarden demo of Chris Cornell, I would have believed it 100%. It's got a little bit more of a metal edge on it. That's where the Dio comes in. I thought the vocals were phenomenal. And then we get tons of really great fuzzy lead guitar at the back end of the track. I fucking love this one. Thought it was a great song. Dave.
All right. So you can find them on Bandcamp at scuzzyyeti.bandcamp.com. That's SCUZZYYETI. Instagram, they're at Scuzzy Yeti Official, and Facebook, they're at facebook.com/Scuzzy Yeti.
They're on Spotify too as Scuzzy Yeti.
All right. And so, yeah, Ruined is their debut album. Vinyl and CD copies are available at saltoftheearthrecords.com/music. From their Bandcamp, there's a quote here from Cristoban Sanazadi from Decibel.
Zandani.
Okay.
Zanati.
Bless you.
Zanati.
So his quote is, from the deep dark woods of New Hampshire comes crawling a trippy, psyched out riff monster known as Scuzzy Yeti. With their upcoming release Ruined, that's their first album, Scuzzy Yeti appears hellbent to set new levels in gargantuan songwriting. These tunes deliver so many twists and enticing layers, taking you on a massive journey that you will undoubtedly want to take again and again. So that's a great quote from him. And Vortex, this song is the lead-off track of that album, Ruined, released December 16th, 2022, engineered and mixed by Justin Pizzoferrato at Sonalab. Described on Discogs.com as alternative metal, stoner rock, and hard rock. It's definitely sludgy and heavy. Of course, you hear some Sabbath influence, and I noted that the singer sounded a little like Dio at times and Chris Cornell other times. It's funny, we got the exact same names in our notes.
Because he does.
Yeah.
Also in the song, there are some synth-like textures that expand the sound even more. I wrote, not sure that if it's a keyboard or a synth pedal, but it sounds good. But now that we know the other background information of their pedal master with his large arsenal of sound-making tools, that he's got some synth action going on there. Hypnotic riffs with major fuzz tone guitars. Like that.
Cool. Did you see when you listen to this on YouTube, there was a visual, like a picture. It's actually the cover of their album. Did you see what it was?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's like a building.
UFO.
Yeah, with a UFO. And to me, the building looks like the Prudential Center where my dad worked for like 40 years, and it's like getting shot by the UFO. I love that. It's really cool.
Dad worked at the Prudential Center, huh?
40 years, yeah.
What floor?
He was around the 30s. I think it was 36th floor. He actually worked for Prudential.
Second tallest building in Boston, for
It is.
those of you who don't know.
Yes.
And do you
Yeah.
know what the tallest building is, Lisa?
It's the John Hancock Building.
It is the John Hancock Building.
Yes.
They used
Neither
to
of
call-
which owned by their namesakes anymore.
They used to call the John Hancock Building the Plywood Tower because
Yes.
it's made out of glass, and the plates of glass were falling out and nearly
Mhm.
killing people. So they would
Yep.
board it up with plywood, and at the end of the
Mhm.
day, they got it figured out, and it's a beautiful, shiny glass building. There
Yeah,
you go, a little Boston
absolutely.
history for you.
So we get a really long opening, which I think is standard for doom metal. You want to set that kind of trance-like mood with the synthy guitars coming in, almost gothy for a second before the vocals come in. And when the vocals come in, we start to hear the guitars go into kind of a drone setting, which is common in doom metal and common in stoner metal for that matter. Almost like trance, almost like trance metal, new genre. See, Lisa's new genre is trance metal.
Trans metal.
Yeah, the vocalist is really incredible, and he is really incredible live as well. You have to hear him sing. I also picked out the Chris Cornell sound, almost a little bit grungy. Actually sounded more like early Chris Cornell before he really fell into that that droney sound in his voice. Yeah, like when he was still really great. And I didn't hear Dio. I actually heard a little Bruce Dickinson. I don't know if I'm weird, like a little Iron Maiden when he went into the high notes.
Our producer ran out of the fucking room as she was putting the music together. She goes, "This guy sounds like Dio. This guy sounds like Dio."
Nice. So we have 3 guitar solos on this song, which I think is really great. And the arrangement of the song reminds me a tiny bit of you remember how the early Metallica albums, Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, had those really complex arrangements where you didn't know there was really no chorus and it was kind of all over the place. It reminds me of that. You can hear the drummer switching up the tempo multiple times throughout the song. It's really cool.
Cool drums.
Yeah, the second solo is pure metal, and the third solo, it almost functions like a bridge and totally changes the feeling of the song. And then, of course, we have some great lyrics, and I wanted to mention that when the singer came into the band, remember they had an original singer. The original singer had written all the lyrics to the entire album. So the singer came into the band and in 2 weeks rewrote all the lyrics on all of the songs. And then delivered them himself, just to have something that was his own, right? So there's this section that says, "Maybe I'll be laying down when I'm rotting underground in many hells." He is so dark and so metal. I love it.
That's God.
You know that I love a good dark song. So I had mentioned that they obviously record their songs essentially live. So if you go and see them live, you're going to get exactly what you expect. Exactly what you hear on the album is what you hear from them live. That singer hits every note every time. It's truly, truly mind blowing. So
he does.
Yeah, really loved him.
Great. Thanks for sending it in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review of your tune. And come on, let's get your fucking songs in, people. We want to fill the melting pot up with as much stuff as we can. So let's keep it coming. Tonight, we will be discussing Spread Eagle, the self-titled debut album from Spread Eagle, produced by Charlie Gambetta, released on May 30th, 1990 on MCA Records. The album failed to appear on the U.S. Billboard 200. A little surprised with Switchblade Serenade. I thought that one would have been hot enough to at least get him an honorable mention on the 200, but unfortunately that did not happen. The band's lineup was as follows. Ray West on vocals. Boston great Paul Di Bartolo on lead guitar. Boston great Rob DeLuca on bass. Boston great Tommi Gallo on drums. Dave, you got any facts on this band?
We got some facts.
I bet you do.
So the band itself is from New York City, formed in 1989. After only a few months, they were signed by MCA Records. The MCA label achieved success in the 1970s with releases by Neil Diamond, Elton John, and The Who. But according to Wikipedia, quote, in the 1980s, MCA became commonly nicknamed Music Cemetery of America due to a huge surplus of unprofitable records sitting unsold in MCA warehouses, end quote.
My father was signed to MCA, with Kangaroo.
Really?
Oh, nice. When was that?
Oh.
70s?
Yeah, it was him with John Hall from Orleans. He was the John Hall was the singer, and my father was the lead guitar player, and a couple other people.
Nice.
Barbara Keefe was in that band also, very good. So yeah,
Those were probably still the good days of MCA.
yes, yes.
So in the 1980s, founding members Paul Di Bartolo, Rob DeLuca, and Tommi Gallo were playing in the Boston-based hard rock band Bang. In September 1986, Bang won the MTV Basement Tapes competition with the video for their song Summertime.
I wish it was summertime.
The person who directed the Bang video, Scott Calvert, went on to direct The Basketball Diaries, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I just watched the Bang video, and it was pretty good. Look it up on YouTube. It's a Van Halen-inspired fun video, even though their singer at the time did jazz hands.
Being a young budding guitar player at the time that video came out, these guys would play it like Narcissus and stuff, and they were like heroes in Boston. Like, I fucking loved Bang, and I thought Tommi Gallo was the coolest dude like on the planet at the time. He was like the Tommy Lee of Boston, skinny, got the little tat, played like Tommy, big double bass kit with Bang on each kick drum. And this song came out, and obviously they played it in Boston. It was a big, probably a bigger hit here than anywhere else. But it was one of the first songs I learned on guitar, like, a riff where I just wanted to play it over and over and over. I love playing that riff. Love it. I can still play it.
According to a 2022 interview with guitarist Paul, now going by the name Salvador Poe, we'll get to that later, on vwmusicrocks.com, written by Andrew Daly. He wrote the song Summertime, and it also got a lot of play on the Boston rock station WBCN, very famous classic rock station up here.
104.1
That's
WBCN.
The Rock of Boston.
WBCN.
WBCN.
WNBC.
Also, according to the interview, bassist Rob was originally a guitarist attending Berklee College of Music who switched to bass for the band.
True.
So next up, in 1989, guitarist Paul met up with singer Ray West in New York City. Paul was reportedly so impressed with Ray's voice that he persuaded the rest of the band to relocate to New York and eventually start Spread Eagle. In that same VW Music Rocks interview, Paul said, "I wrote the music for that album very quickly. When Rob and Tommy came down, I had 5 songs ready. Ray and Rob wrote lyrics for them. We were in a basement rehearsal space where we practiced and did demos. Our manager invited some A&R guys to see us. Most of them knew me and Bang already from Boston because we had showcased for many of them already. They came to our basement space, and MCA Records signed us right away with only 5 songs and no gigs. I had to write the rest of the music quickly. Ray and Rob wrote most of the lyrics. When we released the debut record, the scene had changed dramatically and quickly because of the great bands from the Seattle grunge scene. So there was little interest in what we were doing. We were really over before it even started. Maybe if we had come out 2 years earlier, we would have had more success, but who knows?" End quote.
I think they would have. I really do.
Yeah, possible.
I mean, it was 89, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seems, and the record came out in
89.
The record came out in 1990.
Okay, yeah, they were on the scene in New York in about 89, though. I mean, it was just
Yeah,
the tail end.
yeah, they were doing it in 89, and then the record came out in 90. I mean, that seems a little early to blame
Yeah, a little bit.
Seattle on
That's
the
what I'm
changing.
saying.
Yeah,
'Cause-
but yeah, possible.
I mean, I was living in Greenwich Village in 89, hanging out at the scrap bar, and I can tell you this, fucking hair metal was alive and well, and there was some hype on this band. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that interview, it was also revealed that Paul wrote the theme music to VH1 Behind the Music. Ka-ching!
oh, neat.
So he's probably still getting paychecks from that.
These guys are all uber talented musicians. I mean, you forget fucking Rob DeLuca played with fucking UFO for like
Yeah.
16 years. Like, that's legit, dude. That's fucking legit.
Yeah. So what's the deal with the name change of the guitarist from Paul Di Bartolo to Salvador Poe? Paul wrote and recorded an album of bossa nova and jazz music in Sweden around the year 2000 with his wife at the time, Lisa Ekdahl. Did I pronounce that right?
I think that's right.
Okay.
Close enough.
He wanted a nom de plume for it, and so, according to his interview, he took that name, and it stuck. He's recorded several albums and toured under that name, and had also moved to India. In addition to creating his own music, he performs spiritual teaching work. When contacted by the band in the early 2000s about a reunion, he declined and gave his blessing for them to find another guitarist to perform in his place. So Sal's website is liberationis.com, and that's liberationis.com. Looks a little out there to me, but you check it out and decide for yourself. That's his website.
Cool.
Next up, drummer Tommi Gallo designed the album cover. According to his Facebook, yes, he is on Facebook. He lives in Holbrook, Massachusetts.
Yes, the local.
And, still a musician, even though he does not appear in the current Spread Eagle lineup.
Dave, doesn't he play from time to time with the Brooklyns now?
He does.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought so.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And it looks like from a quick look at his page that he's still on good terms with his former band. They post occasionally on his page. There is also a 2022 interview on VWMusicRocks.com written by Andrew Daly again, speaking with bassist Rob DeLuca, who is still performing with the band. The writer says, quote, a combination of poor management, bad timing, and label indifference left the East Coast's proverbial answer to Guns N' Roses left out in the cold, end quote. True. I have heard that before. These guys were supposed to have been like the East Coast GNR. In addition, Rob has also played bass with Sebastian Bach. We won't hold that against him. The band UFO and George Lynch. Great bassists stay busy. Yeah. Rob says they stole Ray away from the band he was in, Fox Hunt, to start Spread Eagle. Big upgrade in that band name.
Well, I like that name, Fox Hunt. You don't like that?
Yeah, I don't like that. It reminds me of like old ladies wearing fur coats or something.
Going after the Cougars.
I was
down
thinking
at
like foxy girls, like Fox.
I'm sure that was the idea.
I was thinking about cruising MILFs down at Vincent's.
Okay. Rob also says the stories of getting signed in a basement New York City rehearsal room before our first gig are 100% true. End quote. He talked about their upgraded practice room and recording the album that we're talking about today. He says, we shared a room in the music building on 38th and 8th in Manhattan. We did pre-production there, probably 5 or 6 days a week. We then moved about 10 blocks uptown to the Record Plant studio to record. We were the last band to ever record there. The Record Plant New York studio opened in March of 1968 at 321 West 44th Street. Some of the albums recorded at the studio are the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Electric Ladyland from 1968, Alice Cooper, School's Out, 1972, nice. New York Dolls' first album, 1973.
Woo! Hot list.
It just gets hotter and hotter. Aerosmith, Get Your Wings, 1974. Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, 1975. As we know from a previous episode of our podcast, Kiss Destroyer, 1976.
Dave, that list is hot as hell.
I'd even say it's hotter than hell.
There you go. You got it.
Blondie, Parallel Lines, 1978, and finally, and this is not a complete list. You can go on Wikipedia and see all the albums, but I just picked out a couple of the most impressive. Cyndi Lauper's She's So Unusual from 1983. I mean, those are
Great.
giant classic albums.
Yep.
Ever hear of any of those? Wikipedia says in 1987, the New York studio was sold to George Martin and closed soon afterward. So I'm not sure about the discrepancy there between Wiki's dates and the fact that this album was recorded in late 89 or very early 1990. The website rockandrollroadmap.com says that John Lennon had been recording Walking on Thin Ice at the studio the day he was killed, December 8th, 1980. They also say the studio was closed in 1987 and the building was transformed into a high-tech office building. Eventually, this location became Battery Studios, run by Sony for mastering and production. A March 24th of this year, Facebook post says that Sony will be shutting down the location. However, the studio is still listed on the Sony Music Studios website. So we saw Spread Eagle at the now closed Kodo Lowell a few years ago, and they were great. Maybe a year ago.
It was last year, yeah.
Okay.
It was not that
Time
long
just
ago.
blends together for me, and I have no idea where I am. We also hung out after the show, and the band talked to everybody and took pictures and signed autographs until the very end. They were very cool. Spread Eagle's 1990 self-titled album has not yet had any special reissues like many other albums of the time with unused songs or live tracks or demos or anything like that. However, in 2022, the album was re-released in Japan on CD as a limited edition reissue as part of a series of classic 80s albums that also includes Billy Squier, Monster Magnet, Slayer, Poison, and even Royal Court of China, Geared and Primed. And that's a good one. Write that down, kids. Almost nobody knows that album.
What is it again?
It's called, the band is Royal Court of China, and the title is Geared and Primed. It's a really good album.
Cool.
It's in my iTunes.
What is it?
Of course it is.
Yeah. So we're giving away a little secret with that one. You know, that's a super secret down low. If
Hey,
you know about that album, you're cool.
Did either of you two see that little, like, it was like an interview with Spread Eagle? They're like walking around through New York, talking to the interviewer, stopping at different, like, you know, they're down in Washington Square Park, shows like their little shitty apartment in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Did you guys
It's
see it?
really cool. Yeah, I've seen
I didn't
that
see
one.
that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tommy Gallo stealing like a sub from a fucking deli.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice. So according to concertarchives.org, on June 12th, 1990, Spread Eagle played the Channel in Boston with Vane. Holy fuck. I'd kill to have been at that show.
No,
Who was
shit.
at that show?
Were you at that show?
I was at that.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
One of the many times Lisa's seen both bands.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Facebook also confirms that the same two bands played in New Jersey at Studio One in Newark with many local opening acts. I should have started a band earlier. I could have played at that show. Damn it. Oh,
That's a great show.
I went to Studio One at least once or twice. I forget what bands I saw there. Wasn't any national acts or anything, but that place was pretty cool in the middle of dangerous Newark, New Jersey, and they used to have a fence all around the parking lot of the club to
Wow.
to either keep something out or keep something in. You know, who knows? But
Yeah, I lived in Jersey for a minute, and also go visit a friend in Newark, and he would always just be like, just stay in the apartment. We need to go out there. I'm like, no, but I live in New York. He's like, yeah, this isn't New York. You're not safe here.
yeah, so finally, Spread Eagle has a new album that just came out called The Brutal Divine. It's on the Frontiers music label. You can order it along with other merch at frontiers-us.shop. Their closest tour dates to Boston right now are August 1st at the Barrel House in Falston, Maryland, but they have a bunch more dates in Europe and the UK coming up. So check out their website at spreadeagle.us for those dates.
Dave, didn't they do an album between the first one and this one as well?
They did several albums. I didn't have time to list them all, but I know they had one come out in 2019. I forget the name.
Yeah, there's a single off that called Sound of Speed. It's fucking awesome, man. The great video. It's them like a go-kart track. The song is fucking killer, dude. You got to check it out. Sound of Speed.
All right. And that's what I got. Lisa, what do you have?
So I was also, like you, Des, a big fan of Bang back in the day, because who wasn't? They were ruling the scene.
I had never heard of them down in New Jersey.
Well, I feel like they were, I think
they
were
like
much too local.
Local legends.
Yeah, they really were.
The first exposure I had to them is when I watched that video the other day.
Yeah, me and all my friends know them. We love this band.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
V66.
V66. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So there's a quote about the band from a fan at the time, and it says Paul Di Bartolo, that's the guitarist. Paul Di Bartolo was like really trying to be Eddie Van Halen, right? So his girlfriend in '85 was a Valerie Bertinelli doppelganger.
Oh shit.
So the fan says, "I know I'm devastated, but this guy made no bones about imitating Eddie. Drummer tried like hell to look like Tommy Lee, as Des has shared, and the bass player looked like Jeff Pilson. Great live band, better songs than Extreme, in my opinion, which nobody rightfully gives a fuck about." So that was the quote.
Way better.
So their original singer, Michael McGovern, do you know what happened to him?
Oh, do we need a gong?
No.
Did he go to Broadway and star in Phantom of the Opera or Cats or something?
Did he teach a singer a bang tango how to perform on stage?
Funny that you should ask. No, he actually continued on with another band called The Bitter End in New York, and then became an actor.
Oh.
And he appeared in some pretty big movies, I would say. A Civil Action with John Travolta. That was the one about the bad water.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
Who? What? Boom.
And in Amistad, which was, I believe, a Steven Spielberg directed movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
And The Crucible. That's a pretty huge one
play.
Too. Yep. And Matthew McConaughey was in Amistad too.
All right.
One more movie, I think. American Gangster. American Gangsters. Yeah.
Okay.
American Gangster. Yeah.
Was that with Denzel?
It was with Denzel.
Nice.
Yes. So, I wouldn't say he had any leading roles or anything, but that's the direction he went after the band. So
get work.
Yeah.
The only small parts are small actors or something
like that.
Forget.
The law says you cannot touch, but I see a lot of lawbreakers out there. That's from Magic Mike, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it is.
If you get paid at all for acting, you're doing okay.
Yeah. So when I rewatched the Summertime video, I don't think I saw it as much back in the day as I do now. But Paul Di Bartolo, had the same hair as Eddie Van Halen, was wearing the same clothes, was playing the same style guitar, had the same stupid smile, and was wearing like the same outfits. And I don't know what happened between then and Spread Eagle, but he became just this massive cool guy after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he evolved because
he did.
He was obviously very much emulating Eddie, and then I think he developed more of his own style.
Yeah,
everybody does,
which is great. Yeah,
and you can even see like he had a wicked sense of humor because they were playing all these pranks in the video, and like you could definitely see that Paul Di Bartolo was like the prankster. So yeah. So talking about Des, what you mentioned about the timing, and Dave, you mentioned about '89 grunge wasn't around yet. So what happened, right?
It was just starting, right?
Well, I mean the albums were coming out in '89, but they were by no means anywhere past Seattle at that point.
Yeah, nobody knew about it so much.
Yeah. So Ray actually shared something in an interview where he talks about how they got signed. And I have a little more to say about that later, but the quote from him is it was a cattle call, really. You had 9 or 10 bands all signed at once. Everyone from Law and Order to Jet Boy to us, all signed at the same time when the labels were just grabbing a bunch of bands. And as we've said in the past, like if you had long hair and a guitar, you were getting signed at that time, right? So I always found it so strange that, you know, they were playing in a basement. They had 5 songs and never had played a show together as a band. And they were like, here's your record contract. Right? Like, wow.
Yeah. Sweet deal.
Yeah. So to promote their first album, obviously Dave has mentioned they did a tour with Vane. They
cool.
didn't get along with Vane very
I
well.
can't imagine why. Guys from New York, these hard-ass dudes from Boston and New York touring with a bunch of dudes from San Francisco and their feelings.
Yeah, total opposites, right?
We don't have feelings.
Yeah, so at the time, I believe, I'm not going to speak the quote again, but Ray made a quote about at a show as they were playing, like, we don't.
I was actively avoiding
I'm
this.
not going to say it, but it was derogatory towards glam music. Like, we don't play glam music, we're rock and rollers, which...
No.
Let's be fair, totally true.
Yeah, no, it's,
Okay?
it's in my notes. I do not consider Spread Eagle a hair metal band or a glam band at all. They are a rock band.
Absolutely, 100%. They are a rock band. And you still see them bundled in with the hair bands nowadays. Like if there's a hair metal retrospective album, Spread Eagle is oftentimes on it as that, but they were not that.
And what's funny, if any band was going to survive that transitional stage in 1990, it would be a band like Spread Eagle because they were kind of the anti, you know, danger, fuck like the garbage shit that just makes my fucking stomach sick. They're the opposite of that.
And I'll have a lot to say about this later, but I feel like this was the style of music that should have lived on beside grunge in its own pathway.
Sure.
And didn't. So,
but I think back then, like we didn't really make distinction between you know, like Poison or, you know, like these guys or like we were listening to Poison and Metallica and Slayer and
Skid Row,
Warrant and
LA Guns didn't matter.
Yeah,
I think it was Guns N' Roses though when Appetite came up that really started making it like uncool to listen to like the lipstick spandex garbage. You know, it was like, okay, I get it. That's gay. Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah. So fun fact, there's a tape floating around by a band called Utero. A guy in the band named Joey Utero that is often credited to Ray as the singer and essentially to Spread Eagle as a Spread Eagle bootleg. It is not at all. So if you ever see that, it is not Spread Eagle. It is not Ray. Their next show is July 3rd in Jacksonville, Florida, which is a little far from us. And they still have a few more dates in the U.S. They're going to embark on their European tour starting in Bratislava, Slovakia, which is a really interesting place for them to start. Oh, David, you're terrible. You need to get out of the U.S. more often, honey.
Trust me, I'd love to.
Yeah. And they're going to be traveling all over Europe, Austria, Italy, Sweden, UK, Germany, and much, much more. So maybe Henning will see them in Germany, when they get there.
Nice.
And then in October 16th, they're actually back in the U.S. for a couple of shows in Texas. And that's all that's on the board. So nothing for us close, although we have seen them recently.
Come on, get into town, boys.
Yeah, come to see us again. And I mean, when they come here, it feels like it's their local turf, right? Because when we saw them and, we talked to them after the show, I spent a lot of time with Rob DeLuca. And I said, he was like, you remember Bang? I was like, of course I do. I was like, are you kidding? And he was just so happy to hear that he was like remembered here for that and all of that. And he wanted to talk about all the shows that I had gone to and all of that. So
he was so really badass, especially in his Spread Eagle days. Like, dude was ripped like fucking Bruce Lee.
He still is.
Yeah. Killer hair, killer clothes, the jeans with the cowboy boots. Like, done the right way, like the jeans over the cowboy boots with the boots. Oh, dude, he's so fucking cool, man. Rob DeLuca's
Still
a fucking
cool.
beast, man.
And actually, if you go to my social media to make this super fun, Fallen Angel, that's AINGEL, there are tons of video of the last time they played. And my front row spot, right in basically Rob Bartolo's crotch, essentially, his bass almost hit me in the head multiple times during the show. So great close-ups of him and the rest of the band available.
I always say he could have slotted into Alice in Chains effortlessly. Like he could have done. That dude was fucking ready to go, man.
Yeah,
fucking ready to
trained
go.
professional.
Yeah,
as we'll learn. Yeah. So let's talk about the guys. Ray West. He actually started in a band called Defiance in South Florida. Although he was born in New York, he did grow up in Florida before he returned to New York. When he left Florida, in the band Defiance, he was replaced by Oni Logan. So that's a fun fact, right? So Oni Logan, would eventually go on to be the singer, a longtime singer of Lynch Mob. He was also in Oni, I'm talking about, was also in Ferrari, Racer X, and was a founding member of Mr. Big, although he only played one show with them. Isn't that weird? That's a fun fact.
Yeah. I bet Mr. Big is better with him in it.
I'm sure. Yeah. So Ray came into a band, I would say, that essentially it was the three guys had already been playing together for a while. They already had a history. They had some local success. So he talks a lot about how he had some difficulty being, a fully fledged member of the band and feeling like he was really a part of it. They would go into interviews and people would ask them, about Bang and about the video that was on MTV and all of that. And Ray would just kind of sit in the back and he would have nothing, to say during these interviews about that. And he would kind of feel a little bit left out. He also said that he did have some personality clashes with Paul, and the fact that he wasn't like an original member technically, and he was having some personality issues with the other guys made him kind of feel like an outsider, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So after Spread Eagle, Ray joined a band called Girls of Porn for like a minute. And apparently this band had a lot of success and I think probably would have been great. But I guess he decided he wanted to walk away from the music industry completely at that point. So he was kind of really fed up, and we'll talk a lot about this through this whole episode with how MCA treated them, how they were manipulated, how the money wasn't good, how they weren't promoted the way they should have been. And once he disappeared from music, the rest of the guys would go on to play music. Once he disappeared, a whole bunch of rumors came out about what had happened to him, including that he had overdosed and died, that he had AIDS and was living in his mother's basement.
Oh my.
Lots of different rumors. All of the rumors were false. Let's just say this. None of that stuff was true.
I didn't hear any of those rumors. Lisa, are you spreading rumors? What are you doing?
It was not me. Absolutely not me. And
was it like angry ex-girlfriends or something like that?
Holy shit.
The fun fact is that he does know who spread the rumors about him.
Ooh.
And that person has repeatedly apologized for it over and over again to him. So, but at the time when this was happening, he was, really sensitive about it. He didn't want his family to hear that stuff about him, just awful. But the weird thing is that he was not an early adopter of the internet, right? He didn't have a computer right away in 1994 when everybody did. So it was a long time before he started using a computer and he found MySpace that he was even aware that people were saying these things about him. So like back in the day, if you didn't have we didn't have the internet, right? Rumors like this it was much harder to spread a rumor like this. Right.
Word of mouth. Not going to get it done.
Nowadays on the internet, you say something and, 40,000 shares later, the whole world knows what you've said, right?
So
it's different world. Yeah.
What the fuck is the internet?
We were not ready for that.
Yeah. And he's also a little bit upset that during that time, no one really checked on him to see how he was. So when he was spotted in public, people would like spread rumors. Like no one would walk up to him and ask if he was okay. They would just spread a rumor like, oh, I saw him and he was drunk or something like that. He didn't look good. No one ever walked up to him, asked him if he was okay, asked him what he was doing. Nothing. They just would see him, maybe take a photo, and then, bang out and spread horrible things about him.
Hey, dude, I heard you living in your mom's basement. You got AIDS. Is that true?
Yeah.
Can I get a picture?
Yeah. So during his time away, he did do 2 stints in rehab, one in 1997 and one in 2000. He would again eventually relapse. He also did stand-up comedy,
Oh, no shit.
which I never knew that until this episode. But yes, he did. And I can see it because of his huge personality.
Yeah.
And
How many lead singers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
yeah, he was also working in theater as an actor as well.
Nice.
So, yeah. Which I could totally see too, because he's such an animated, like, cool guy, right?
I just watched a video on YouTube from their last album that they put out in 2019, and it was something about Spread Eagles having vocal problems, and it was a joke video, and he was putting on this like funny voice,
Yeah.
and like, oh, this is how I
Yes.
sing now, and it was hilarious.
Yeah,
It
he's
was
so funny.
hilarious.
I didn't know they were, comedians.
Yeah,
I watched that.
he's really funny. So in 2006, he resurfaced and he started again talking to the press. He had been writing some music and doing some small projects kind of underground. And he started speaking about the issues that he had with MCA to the press. And sharing everything and how grunge changed everything. And I'm not going to say that he thinks grunge was the only reason that they were done, but he did definitely talk about that. He also said that he heard a rumor that the band, when he left, that the band had decided to go and find another singer to replace him and we're going to go on. That never happened. And I'll have more about that in a moment. So something that we just mentioned in a 2006 interview from Ray, he did say that he felt like back in the day when the band broke, that they were one of the few bands that had a real chance, as we just said, to continue and not have like the hair metal stink on them and go into the heavy side and play along with these bands like Alice in Chains when a lot of the glam bands were collapsing, not just because of grunge, but because they were tired and there was drugs and there was conflicts and there was all. So the bands were collapsing. He felt like they really had a chance, to go forward. And it just, because of all of the business stuff, like it was an impossibility.
It just didn't happen.
Well, we've said this before. They would have had to have tweaked their sound slightly. Like Paul Di Bartolo would have had to get away from the finger tapping a little and go more towards his sleazy blues, like ripping, which I think just like Eddie Van Halen. I think that they're both better when they're playing that style. But yeah, they would have had to move it a little bit.
Which, to be fair, is exactly what they did in their 1993 album.
Yes.
So the problem was that got buried by the record label purposely because they weren't traditional grunge. Like that album should have been the way forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason that he returned is that he says he actually found his love of singing again. He also says that MySpace was a big part of him coming back because he started to he posted a Spread Eagle fan page or something like that on MySpace and got a huge response from everyone being like, oh my God, where have you guys been? You were one of the best bands. And I think that gave him the sense oh, wait a minute, people actually do remember us and remember us well.
People care.
Yeah, totally. So he actually started putting some of his other projects on MySpace as well at the time. He had written a couple of singles. One was called Novocaine and another one was called Stolen under the project name Hostile Inc. And later they would change their name to Elements of Dysfunction. He also had some solo work under his own name, and he was promoting all of this through MySpace. So in 2009, he actually released a full solo album called All Points West, which contained those two singles that he had played in a great studio version instead of the demo versions that he had been sharing. It's much more modern than the Spread Eagle music. I would say that I would call it progressive rock in a sense. Stolen is my favorite track on the album, I would say. I would call that a radio ready track. Like, I'm honestly not sure how that didn't make it on the radio. It was so good. And perfect for the time too, because it was hard rock. It was a little bit grunge. His vocal tone had matured so much that he became, I don't want to call it grunge because it was more like Alice in Chains. So it was like a mix of grunge and glam and progressive and kind of everything. But he didn't have the, you know how he has like the, I don't want to call it a screech, like a screamer voice on the Spread Eagle album. He hits all those notes. This album is much more controlled. You get the deeper tones, the lower register of his voice on this, and it's absolutely spectacular.
That's one of the tweaks they would have had to make to the original album is giving us more of a mix. And he does a little bit, but it would have had to be way more.
Yeah, and this solo album is exactly that. And
They were doing what they had to do to get signed at that point. I mean, when in Rome, right? I mean, everybody was screaming, everyone was finger tapping, everyone was doing that. So they did what they had to do, but they definitely had stepped back from what it was. It was a nice mix on this first Spread Eagle album, but it needed to be more in the other direction.
Totally. So on that same album, there's another song called Hypothermia, which is also like near favorite. I mean, I think Stolen is my favorite song from the album, but Hypothermia is probably like just barely my second favorite. You can really hear the matured vocals in that song, but it's almost melodic metal in a way.
Did you hear Speed of Sound?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Off the 2019 album. Yes.
So
I love
great.
that song. Yeah.
And his vocals are so good on that one.
Yeah, so great. So he also has a project more recently called Superfly The Vibe, which started in 2023. And they seem to have played last time March of 2025. But, you know, he does go back and forth between projects. So that one may actually come back in. That's a little more my speed, a little more modern. There's more synth on it. There's I don't want to call it industrial. It's not totally industrial, but it's progressive rock with some synth and some really modern production on that. Really, really great stuff. But remember that Spread Eagle has come back by this time as well. And he did a couple of pretty big tours with Spread Eagle. So I think he's balancing all of these projects that he's doing, giving time to each one. So, and as Dave had said, they did just recently, it was 2 weeks ago, release their new album, which if you haven't listened to that, The Brutal Divine, it is absolutely fantastic. It is, again, I would say a little more progressive rock. There's actually a couple songs that sounded punk to me on that album, which was pretty great. Really dark. You know how we talk about like, oh, Poison being so like fluffy and poppy and Skid Row being more like grr and Guns N' Roses, Junkyard being more grr. This is darker. This is darker. Zero glam here, to be fair, which is great for music right now, right? He's all over social media, and he sometimes appears along with friend to the show, Megan Miller. Hello, Megan. Hope you're doing well. Tons of upcoming shows with Spread Eagle, as we mentioned earlier, and I'm hoping to see some of these other side projects come back soon as well. So, cool. Hi, Ray. I hope you're listening. So, yeah, he was really awesome when we met him this last year, and I did meet him back in the day. He was, and it's so funny because back in the day, you know how the bands were back in the day. He was a little cocky. He was a little, larger than life, kind of like really like rock star vibes back in the day when rock stars were still rock stars. And now he's just like, he just loves singing. And you could tell that he just loved being there. He loved talking to all the fans. He just was so happy to be playing music. And he's just such a cool guy. And he's just, funny. So, okay. Paul Di Bartolo on guitar, as Dave mentioned, now known as Salvador Poe. So I'm probably going to refer to him as Paul through this because we're talking about the album from the 90s. Yeah, just for clarity. But I'm not trying to like dead name him or something. His name is Salvador Poe.
The artist formerly known as Paul.
Right. Yeah. Started playing guitar at 12 after hearing Jimi Hendrix. Huge fan, obviously, of Eddie Van Halen, as we mentioned. And also when he was 19, he was heavily influenced by jazz musicians and had, of course, as we mentioned, gone to Berklee Music for guitar along with Rob. They went together. Yeah. So he was in Bang, as we said, before Spread Eagle, where he flexed his Eddie Van Halen muscles, both in playing and looks. He met Tommi, and I'll tell the meeting story between him and Tommi in the Tommi section. a little bit later, and then Rob when he and Paul were at Berkeley. So it was a small world back then. All the musician guys were at Berkeley. Dave was there too. So
not back then.
well, yeah, they were there a few years before you, but it hadn't changed when you came to Berkeley. That was still the place to go for musicians. Like you guys all kind of floated together and had your bands together and all of that. So. Yeah. So once they lost their original singer from Bang, he actually chose to leave Bang. He quit the band and moved to New York with his girlfriend, who had decided to go to NYU. So that's why he went down there. He met Ray, of course, and saw him as like the East Coast Axl Rose, essentially. Yeah, and we have mentioned that Spread Eagle is sometimes known as the East Coast version of Guns N' Roses. Now, when Spread Eagle was forming, Paul wanted to be the only guitarist because, as we've heard this album, he's a magician on the guitar, right? He sounds like there's 2 or 3 guitars playing on this album, right? So, unfortunately, the band, which it was like Fox Hunt and then changing at the time, their previous guitarist decided to return from California, and the manager thought it was a good idea to put this guitarist in the band with Paul. And Paul hated it and decides to quit because he doesn't want to play with this guy. So that was the point when Paul calls down Tommy and Rob from Boston and says, hey, I found this guy. I quit the band. I quit his band, but you guys need to come down and we're gonna steal him from this band and we're gonna be a band together. So another example of kind of poaching a singer from another band, which is a big thing. Yeah. Paul wrote a lot of the music for the album. In fact, by the time that Tommy and Rob came down from New York, 5 of the songs were essentially completely complete without lyrics, just musically complete. The signing of MCA, he claims that they were signed having played no gigs, which we now know is true. And they had to rush to write the rest of the album, which, we usually think about these debut albums as the guys have had their whole life to write the songs. And that wasn't the case because these guys had been writing songs for other bands that were actually used and produced and done. So essentially, this is like a second album in a way where they rushed in, the rest of the songs after they had their first 5 songs. So he said that Ray and Rob together wrote the lyrics, and he contributed, this is Paul Salvador, contributed very little to the lyrics on the album. He said by the time the album came out, this was 1990, the scene was already sort of dying to, whether it was the grunge movement or whether it was the poor quality of the glam bands at the time, the scene was dying down in New York. So he says that for equipment, the album was recorded on an early 70s Marshall amp, right? And he shares a really interesting story from an interview that he did in 2022. He says when he was in LA on tour with this amp, Eddie Van Halen's guitar tech called him and said that Eddie was not satisfied with his amp at the time. They were recording at the time. This was before he had designed the PV5150 amp, right before that time. He asked if Paul would bring his amp over to Eddie's studio. So he was like, yes.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah. And apparently Eddie used it on the song Top of the World to record it.
Wow.
So,
That's so cool.
and he was there when Eddie recorded it. So
That's amazing.
So saw his idol in work. He says when they started playing the show, that the shows were sparse. So when they were playing, and now we're going into 91 as they were on tour, they weren't necessarily selling out venues. Even being with Vane or some of the other bands that they played with, they played with Body Count.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, Ice-T.
Ice-T.
Nice.
They did. That's
awesome.
a weird
Odd.
mix-up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
odd.
But apparently what they were saying was Alice in Chains would be playing down the street. And Alice in Chains shows in 91 were selling out and theirs were not. So
The writing was on the wall.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall. So they did the next album, and clearly everything by 93, certainly going into 94, was falling apart. So he claimed at the end of Spread Eagle was simply a discussion of the guys, and they were like, yep, I guess we're done. Right, essentially. So he then learned that after Spread Eagle, and Dave kind of touched on this, the guy who was the director of the Bang video would go on to do the Basketball Diaries. So Paul decided he was going to go on and do some scores. So he decided that he was going to do a song. I think it was just a song. I don't think it was part of like the whole score for the movie, but he did some of the musical work on Basketball Diaries, and then would continue on with this guy to do a ton of musical scores and writing and composition work essentially from there. So in 2006, Rob obviously called him multiple times to come back to the band. He was done with the rock star life at that point. He'd gone on a spiritual journey, had recorded a lot of his own music, had recorded, as Dave said, in Sweden, had moved to India, was writing like 60s or 70s, I would call it just pure psychedelic music. I wouldn't even call it rock at this point, more like jazz. He has lived now, as far as I can tell, he's still living in India and has lived there now for 20 years. He is far removed from the rock star life, is perfectly happy where he is, has no interest in going back, but is fully supportive of Spread Eagle going forward with their new fantastic guitarist. And he's really just thankful that people still love the music, as much as they do.
Could Paul Di Bartolo rip a solo on a sitar?
Absolutely. And you can go hear some of his more recent music to hear him doing exactly that.
No shit. Yeah. Fucking great.
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
Yeah. So he doesn't, he isn't really in the scene anymore. So recently he was told that he's mentioned in the company of players like Vito Bratta and Vinnie Vincent and George Lynch, right? And he claims he doesn't see himself like that at all. And he was definitely not aware of it back in the day that he was ever considered that category of player.
Oh, that's right. Where I'd put him. That's right. Where
Yeah.
I'd put him. I think he's better than Nuno.
He's fantastic. And actually, I'm going to mention it a couple times in this podcast, but Dave's band has played the song. And I think that playing some of the solos on this album makes Dave cry in the same way that it does a Vito Bratta solo. So
yep, I can't even do it right. I have to, cheat a little bit, and just cut a couple corners here and there because I can't do it the right way.
Yeah. That solo to Switchblade Serenade is fucking.
Yeah, he is a very skilled guitar player.
In addition to music, he also writes books about his spiritual work. He holds online lessons. He calls them intensives, and speaks to people all over the world. He's on Substack, and he has his own website, liberationis.com. And he also has a website, salvatorpo.com, which you can link to both his music and his spiritual work through that site. And his most recent music release, which he wrote and recorded in India, is called Weightless, and you can see that on the website as well. All right, on to Rob DeLuca on bass. We have talked about Rob before on previous episodes, but I'll go over his work at least at a high level to avoid being super repetitive. Started guitar at 15, attended Berklee for guitar, and he switched to bass when he joined Bang, and he intended that switch to be temporary, and as we all know, it was not. He went to New York when called down by Paul, and that's when Spread Eagle came together. His next project would be a band called Of Earth, which is essentially, I would say, a noise band, honestly. And I'm kind of unable to categorize the music, but I'm going to call it a noise act. He makes his own electronic instruments and powers them with his breath. And it's just the coolest sounding thing you could ever imagine. So also in the project is a guy named Paul Casanova who plays a different created instrument as well. And his brother, Rick DeLuca, who is who's playing with, I don't know if he's still playing, but we saw him play with Spread Eagle as the drummer. And Rick DeLuca in this Of Earth project has all of these like hand created percussion instruments made from wood to create the rhythms on the song. It's a super, super cool project. And as someone who loves noise music and who loves artists that create their own instruments, like when I was speaking about Author and Punisher not too long ago, the man who fabricated all of his techno instruments, right? This is just fascinating to me. So they released their debut album in 2010. And in June 2013, Classic Rock Magazine nominated Of Earth for Track of the Week for Heart of the Hard Drive. They also won the next year, gaining almost a third of the votes, beating Nine Inch Nails, Shinedown, Megadeth, and Queensryche.
Wow.
So, yeah, right?
That's a good victory.
Yeah. They seem to have stopped playing around 2013, and their website, which is still up, references only the future Spread Eagle dates at this time. So he obviously joined Sebastian Bach's solo band in 2005. And when Sebastian's band went on tour to support the Canadian leg of Guns N' Roses tour, it was Guns N' Roses supported by Sebastian's band and Helmet. Well, Helmet, I think we've told this story, but I'm going to tell it again because it's amazing. Helmet's bass player couldn't get into Canada, was refused entry. So essentially they asked Rob to step in and play for him. Rob had 4 hours to learn their set and jumped on stage and played with them, and then would play in both opening acts for the entire rest of the tour.
Yeah, he's a fucking beast.
Mind-blowing to me. Yeah. Trained professional, as they say. In 2008, Rob joined UFO, which, for those of you who don't know, is a band with a massive history. When their former bassist, Pete Way, could not get a work visa to work in the U.S. He's toured all over the world with this band, contributing to their 2015 and 2017 albums. I believe they started in 1968. So this would be a 56-year run when they disbanded in 2024, after a couple of canceled tours due to Moog, I believe, was sick at the time. So they officially disbanded in 2024. Didn't
Rob play with these guys for like 16 years or something? It wasn't just a step in.
Yeah, well, I think, 16, I'm trying to do the math, 16 years, 2008 until 2024. Yeah,
a long time.
So
I know that.
Crazy. So he's also obviously a studio musician and has recorded with tons of people, including Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, George Lynch's many, many projects, including his solo project, and Dokken and Lynch Mob. In a 2022 interview with Vinyl Writers Music, Rob shares a really interesting thought that we sort of debated on our last episode. He actually says grunge had very little negative effect on Spread Eagle. What did have a detrimental effect was the mindset at the time that anything that wasn't grunge couldn't possibly be good music. Yeah. He says, I've never seen anything more moronic than that mentality. Yeah. And I would totally agree. Like, I feel like there was room for other types of music at the time, and the record labels just did not let that happen.
So. Hair metal just dominated for too long. It was like a witch hunt. It was over. It was just fucking over.
Yeah. And in that same interview, he shares a fun fact, which is Ray had a suspicion that when Ray left the band, that the band was going to go on without him and find a new singer. Well, Rob confirms that, says, they did decide they were going to go on and try to find a new singer, but we quickly found out that he's irreplaceable. So that was a nice thing for him to say. Yeah. So he's very active on social media. He's all over the place. You can also find his Of Earth website online. So please go follow him because he's got tons of stuff going on. And finally, we have Tommi Gallo on drums. As a child, his grandfather and uncle were both in bands, and he was allowed to sit at the drum kit and essentially never stopped playing. He worked at Strawberries in Boston. I believe Dave also worked at Strawberries. I was at Sam Goody, so I was at the Competitor at the time. Yeah. We had Newbury Comics in Boston at the time, I believe, and a couple other places. Well, there was tons of record stores back then as well, independents that we don't have now, but yeah. He reported in a 2022 interview that he tried his best to look like he was in Hanoi Rocks when he was behind the cash register.
Yeah.
And that's where he met Paul Di Bartolo, who saw him and was like, wow, that guy looks cool. I'm going to go talk to him. So one of the first questions that Paul asked him was, do you like Van Halen? Which, of course, if he had said no, there was no way you would have been able to fit into Bang, because that was basically what they were trying to be.
Oh,
so. Yeah. So his response, obviously was, yes, I do. And that's how they got in the band. But the fun fact is that Paul actually said to him in there, shredders have no soul. Oh. And I'm like, that's weird, because that's what Eddie was. Like, how can he not have any soul? So I thought it was a weird comment for him to make. He shares that the days in Bang, they were essentially rock stars in Boston, and we've confirmed that both ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
He says they had the best looking girlfriends because they all looked so good. Later, he would meet Rob DeLuca in Boston as well. Rob was at Berkeley along with Paul, so all these musicians were hanging out in the same area. He shared that Mike, the singer, left the band, essentially quit, and that actually allowed them to move forward, find Ray, and build Spread Eagle. And he kind of wonders what would have happened had Mike stayed in the band and they kept going with Bang, because Bang was doing a lot of showcases for the record labels and was getting nothing. So maybe they would have faded into obscurity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sense I got from reading the interviews, that just they had made the rounds just trying to get somewhere, and it wasn't working. So that was, I think, part of his decision to, split and go to New York. And
the vehicle
try
went
his
as
luck.
Far as it could have gone.
It did.
Yeah, ran out of gas.
So
dumped it on the side of the road.
Yeah. So Tommy shares
Took off the plates.
That's terrible.
Oh, shit.
So Tommy shares that when Paul left for New York, he decided to stay in Boston, and he actually worked at a pizzeria in Kenmore Square, probably serving all of us because we were there at the time.
What was that place called in Kenmore Square? Was it? What,
it was
Nemo's.
Pizzeria something. Yeah.
There was a place like a little bit down from Kenmore Square, just like a little bit down the street by that like diner, the
blue
diner house or whatever it was. It was Pizzeria Romano.
Maybe that was it.
They had the best pizza in Boston, I would say.
And they were open late.
And I used to go there, regularly. And then they closed one day to have like renovations. And I don't think they ever opened up again.
Ugh.
Dave, what about the place that was around the corner from Daddy's Junkie Music that had the fucking slices that were like the size of a baby?
Oh yeah, little Stevens Pizza.
Stevens Pizza.
Little Stevie's, right. Something like that.
Stevie's Pizza.
Yeah, I think that place is still there.
That's crazy.
I went there with Pink a couple of years ago when we were recording in like South Boston, and this was many years ago now, but we were recording the Demon's Alley album, and we stopped there, and it was still there then. It's probably still there now.
And then there's the other sub shop, the other pizza shop that's next door to the Rat, that's sub level. You go down. I think that was Nemo's, wasn't it?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Oh man, so many drunk nights having pizza there. Like,
exactly.
Slice. Fuck, man.
Yeah. So while he was working at the pizzeria, he and Rob decided to continue on, even though Paul had left for New York, and they formed a band called Pagan Gods, which didn't really go anywhere. So he was really happy to. Do you have something to say about the name Pagan Gods?
No, it's pretty cool.
It's a cool name.
Was it with a Z at the end?
No, we did not have a Z.
Damn it!
Shut up.
Double the E, double the Z, double the flavor.
See, they would have made it if they had put a Z at the end.
And with the two little dots above the O in Gods.
Umlaut.
Yeah.
Gods.
Yeah. So and around that time, they were really happy to get the call from Paul to come down to New York. He describes his first meeting with Ray that he sounded like Stephen Pearcy with teeth. So he shares that Bruce Dickinson came to see them at their underground rehearsal space and brought a rep from MCA with him, a woman who found them offensive, but signed them anyway. Yeah.
Did he mention? I think somebody said in one of the interviews that was Bruce Dickinson, the record producer.
The record producer, not
Bruce
the Iron
Dickinson.
Maiden guy. Yeah.
Right. Not the
Mhm.
singer of Iron Maiden, but
Yep.
there's a record producer
That's
named
correct.
Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I just wanted to clarify that.
brought the MCA woman with him. Yeah.
I find
So-
you rock and roll men to be very offensive, especially you. Can I touch you? I don't know. Something
So
like
Would you
that.
like to touch my monkey?
Yes, it's
So-
time to dance.
Now's the time on Sprocket for me, dog!
Tommy describes their first album as similar to Kiss Destroyer. I think it's so much better than Kiss Destroyer.
Sorry,
Hey, hey,
Lisa.
hey, hey, hey.
Sorry, Lisa. Sorry,
Yep.
it's not.
And of course, we mentioned that he did design the album cover. The album cover raised quite a bit of controversy after 9/11, if you remember.
Oh, okay. We have the burning buildings. And all that.
Ah,
'cause-
that's a stretch.
I mean, that was 20 years before.
It was,
That's a
but
stretch.
well, it would have been 11 years before, right? 11 years before.
2001. Yeah.
But all of the artwork, not just this album cover,
Brought to you by Jack Daniels, my brain.
all of the album covers and book covers and artwork that had depicted the New York buildings burning, which this was not the only one.
Oh
right?
yeah, there was a was a Dream Theater album that was
Yep.
that came out like that day
Yeah.
that they had to pull or that week or something like that.
Well,
that
bad
they had
luck,
to pull.
huh? Ah,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
He texting your buddy. Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see?
Yeah. So he has an opinion on why the album never really was commercially successful. And he says the drum tracks aren't radio solid. He said, my meter was erratic. I don't know. The drum tracks on the first LA Guns album are a mess too. I don't know. There was a lot of partying.
Huh. I don't feel like that.
I don't either.
I thought his drums were very solid.
I
thought
did
they were
too.
great, man. I thought they
Yeah.
were great.
I did too. You're always your own worst critic, right?
Right.
So,
Oh, sure.
so Tommy, we didn't hear any of that, and if you hadn't mentioned it, we never would have even gone back to look. So,
Would
Just-
not have questioned.
No,
Just so he
never.
knows it wasn't your drum track that fucking
Mm.
sank the album. Trust me, dude.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So a fun quote about Tommy when he was in the band. One night he decided, this is from a fan, one night he decided it would be a great show to headbutt his cymbal. He ended up splitting his forehead wide open, blood everywhere. That was rock and roll.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's reported that Gallo was out of the band due to his hard partying. But Tommy says that Paul and Tommy, each got married and things started to change. And he said he admits he was hard to deal with at the time. And I think a lot of people are mentioning that they had issues with Paul personally. Ray certainly did. So he does like the next album, the 1993 album, which he did not play on, of course, because he was out of the band before that. But he respects Tommy Price because obviously, hello, Tommy Price, Joan Jett, Blue Oyster Cult, Billy Idol, Roger Daltrey, Debbie Harry,
Yep.
So he has a lot of respect for that album and he does actually like it. Other stories say that Tommy had heard Rage Against the Machine and knew that it was the future of music and he wanted to go pursue music like that, and that was not the direction that Spread Eagle was going in, and that's why he left. No confirmation in either direction which of those stories is true, or if either is true. I don't know. In later years, Tommy would add banjo and piano to his instruments, so that's pretty cool. He would rejoin Spread Eagle for a short time after the second album before finally leaving for good. He would actually work at Publix after being, if you don't know what Publix is, it's Market Basket. It's a grocery store.
Yeah.
In the South.
down
Yeah.
south. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a big
And he would also play in a rockabilly band, which is
Nice.
kind of fun. He's pretty open about this time of his life. He moved to Worcester, Massachusetts, and worked a regular job, like I said. He did more artwork and wrote poetry, and he was deep in depression. His quote is, depression took him. He says, and this is another quote for him, I eventually hit a wall of misery in 2009 and was admitted to the legendary Westwood Lodge after being treated surgically for a near fatal battle with depression. My arms were all sutured up. I had had enough. So this is horrible hearing this for me, right? Knowing that in 2009, this talented drummer was living in Worcester, which is very close to us, and was suffering like this and probably had no idea how many fans there were out there. I know that having fans has nothing to do with depression and wouldn't have cured him. But I wonder if maybe if there was some kind of rally or something for him to be like, hey man, you matter to us. Like, come on, this is just awful. So
for sure.
Yeah. He would then go on a spiritual journey, just the same as Salvador did, to find his Zen. Went in a different direction than Salvador did. In 2019, he's listed as playing in a band called Iron Rage, which appeared on a compilation album. He also played drums in the band called the Brooklyns back in 2022. As of 2024, there's actually a different drummer listed playing in the Brooklyns, so I believe he's no longer with them. But he is currently living in Holbrook and is very active on social media, filming himself playing drums and harmonica and banjo all the time and sharing tons of music like that.
At the same time?
Well, he plays harmonica and banjo at the same time.
Okay,
but not also drums.
Okay, we got to add in the drums, and then we got something.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Tommy Ledger is in the Brooklyns. He was the drummer from the Fighting Cocks, but he doesn't play drums in the Brooklyns. I think he plays maybe guitar, and I think his wife maybe sings. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, yeah. It also looks like he played in a band called Out There and actually opened for Spread Eagle in a show in New Bedford this past March, which we did not go to because I believe Dave had a show that night.
Yeah, probably at the Vault.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
It was at the Vault. Yep. So Tommy was there in the opening band. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, cool. That's all I got.
All right, good stuff, guys. Let's share some opening thoughts on this album before we break it down. So, of course, I have listened to this album before. I'm from Boston. Like I said, 3 of these guys are local heroes. And then, on top of that, they were coming out of New York City the same year I moved there. So there was hype on them. 3 of them were local guys. So I was super excited to get this album. The question is, did I like it? Dave?
Well, I did not own this one back in the day, but I had heard several songs from it on my favorite metal radio station when I was a kid. Once again, that's College Radio, 89.5 WSOU Pirate Radio.
88.9.
Yeah, it's still going today. Not sure if they're still spinning Spread Eagle on there, but they should be. This band was pretty big in the New York, New Jersey area. I remember seeing their name in the EC Rocker newspaper, which later reverted to its original name, The Aquarian, in 1992. They ceased the print version in 2020, but continue online at theaquarian.com. I was able to get a copy of this album a few years ago. I never saw them live in the old days, but as stated in the facts, went and saw them recently. They are still great. And I'll have to check out that new album too, The Brutal Divine, out now.
It was great. I listened to it like 3 times over this week.
Oh, wow.
So good.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I haven't heard that
really
one yet.
Fantastic.
Haven't heard it yet. Liz?
So this album is one of my favorites back in the day. This album lives in a place in my head where Vane and Junkyard lived. Bands that were completely underrated without any explanation as to why. If I met someone and they claimed, they liked metal or hair metal or whatever, if they didn't name those 3 bands, Spread Eagle and Vane and Junkyard, they were posers. And
that's the cool test.
That's the cool test. If you knew who Spread Eagle was, then you were cool.
Sure.
So I actually found this one when I worked at Sam Goody. The cover just stood out to me. Sometimes back then, like, kids don't realize it today, sometimes you just took a chance on an album. So sure. I had read the track names on the back and they were a little bit cheeky, I think. And I was like, I'm going to check this one out.
This looks cool.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I would take it home and I would listen to it and I would realize that it was the band I had been watching on MTV with the Switchblade Serenade video. And I hadn't made the connection when I bought that it was them. Right. I don't know what it was about that song, Switchblade Serenade. I played it over and over and over and over again. Yeah. It just sticks in your head. I fell in love with it. I go back to it year after year, even after I left glam behind, which was shortly after this album came out. This band lived on, Vane lived on, only, 3 or 4 bands lived on for me. This was one of them. And even in the years where I was deep into techno and the dark wave side of goth, I still listened to this song. It didn't matter. I was out of the area when they came back together and they did a Northeast tour. I think it was in 2006 or 2007. So I didn't get to see them at that time. I was West Coast at that point. But I was just really happy to hear that they had gone back together. And of course, we saw them recently and spent lots of time with the band, before the show and after the show. I talked with all the guys, and I of course mentioned that I talked to Rob about Bang, and he was just over the moon that I had been at the shows. Cause I don't know that when they tour around the country that a lot of people come up to him and go, I saw you in Bang in Boston. And, in 1989 or 88 or whatever it was, so he was just really happy to talk about that stuff. And all the guys were so fantastic, and they took pictures with everyone. They signed autographs for everyone. They stood there and waited and talked to every single person that wanted to talk to them.
Yeah, until the very end, like until the last person, got their picture and autograph and stuff.
It was amazing. So we didn't get out of that place. We were there because you were working and my bestie was working, so we must have been there until 2:30 in the morning hanging out with them.
Sure, something like that.
Yeah,
it's way past my bedtime.
Late night.
No.
So these guys live in a special place with me. So
all right, let's rate the singer. As always, it's 1 through 100. 25 on hair, 25 on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. I will get us started. So Ray West, he had the straight black hair. He had the stiletto shoes. His clothes were a perfect mix of New York City, denim, leather. He had the great clothes, man. They all look great. All these guys look great. Stage moves, aggressive, on point. Just watch the Switchblade Serenade video. He's a performer. And he's got a great voice. Lots of range, lots of energy, lots of teeth. 79.9 for Ray West. Good stuff. Dave.
All right. Well, I watched a couple of YouTube videos of the band live from 1992. That was the earliest I could find. So if anybody's got Spread Eagle live tapes from 89 or 1990, upload them on YouTube, please. Ray had long hair, appropriate style for the time, not teased up or anything. So we'll give him an 18 score there. And also an 18 on style and stage. Pretty good. He moved around some. He high-fived the folks in the front row and kept that gritty street style going with the clothes that the band chose. He'd wear jeans, cut-off T-shirts, leather jackets, denim vests. Nothing, super flashy or anything. It was just, it fit with the band.
Timeless.
And appropriate for the time and the band's vibe. I'm giving him a 35.6 on vocal talent. He's got a great screaming range. He's got a good low range too. I love the tone of his voice. I'm giving Ray a 71.6 total.
And the clothes these guys wore, that you could look back and never be like, oh, that was a bad fashion choice. Like
it's not.
Yeah. Like Ben Brooks. Cool. Yeah. Like Ben Brooks looking at that picture of me and Touch Me Hooker must have been like, whoa. Like that's ready for like RuPaul's drag fucking. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go. Lisa.
Yeah, these guys look like you would see them walking down the street like that and it would be okay. Like it was very Skid Row-esque.
Yeah, it's cool.
And as I'm going to mention, they were, before Slave to the Grind era. Yeah. So they did it first maybe.
I've got a line about that in my notes.
Me too, yeah. So I'm going to kind of blow you guys out of the water on this one. So
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We called our leaderboard for a little while the Screamer leaderboard, and Ray fits like perfectly into this. But he's also a great singer when you hear him on the ballads and you get that clarity in his voice away from the screaming. It's surprising to me how close the live performances sounded like the studio album. And I mean, he hit a lot of high notes on that album, right? And it didn't matter. He could do it live. Just like our opening band, Scuzzy Yeti, what you saw live was what you heard on the album. And I don't think he needed multiple takes for that, because he could actually just do it straight out in a live performance. So I'm sure he was great in the studio. The whole band had great hair. I don't know if you noticed that, but like all long, like, metal hairdos. And he had back then has a cut, I think, that almost is very similar to the cut that Dave has now, that if you wanted to, you could like fluff it but
Yeah.
like you don't need to because it's a metal cut. It's like he had that cut, which was cool. Great style. Definitely, I would not call this glam. I would definitely call this more metal. Definitely a darker look. And I also mentioned the boots, the stiletto boots that you saw. God, those were so cool.
So good.
So great. By the time the band was doing their third album, which was 2019, they look a lot like Dave's band, to be honest. Jeans and t-shirts, kind of cool. He went through a moment where he actually had dreads. I don't know if you saw pictures of him with the dreads.
I think a lot of guys did in the 90s.
Yeah. I think this was, I want to say it was later 90s or early 2000s. It actually really suited him. It looked really great. And it was when he was doing, I think it was a little maybe around the time of the solo stuff. So he was doing that darker, grungier, not grunge, but like, harder music. So like, I think that really fit. They came back in recent years to the rock star look. Cause when we saw him last year, he was more rock star and less just metal grunge guy. But let me say this, he can still sing. His voice is exactly what I remember. Yeah. He didn't lose any of it at all. I would have expected his voice to be a little shredded because of the harsh singing that he does. Nope, clear as a bell. Puts on a fantastic show, jumps all over the place, looks incredibly young. Looks like he hasn't aged since back in the day.
He looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Yeah. So clear, I don't know, I just love him. I'm giving him a 92.8, and I think both of you guys are wrong.
I had him like almost at 80. I mean, that's a
you that's really high.
That's a good score. You know who your kind of reminds me of is a little bit of like Jason McMasters on that first Dangerous Toys album, with just balls to the wall, every bit of power and range he can give. And they both are able to do it live, because I mean, even now Jason McMasters, I've watched some videos from like, damn man, he's recreating that first album pretty good for an older guy.
Yeah.
But we've said this, I just wanted to say it again right here. If I was producing that first Spread Eagle album and I had a little crystal ball and I knew exactly what was going to happen to the scene, I would have just been like, Ray, I want you to mix your super powerful screams up with a little more of your singing voice, the lower register stuff. Let's turn that into something. And I would have said, Paul, no more finger tapping. You're done doing that. You're going to fucking just rip solos now. And I think that would have got you halfway to where they needed to go. Yeah. And it would have been so easy for them, because it's like, I mean, that would be like, play below your what you can do. Like you're showing too much of your hand here, guys.
Yeah. I don't think they should, spoiler alert, I don't think they should change anything on this album that we're doing. But I think if there was anything that they missed, it was some of Ray's lower range vocals.
Yeah,
because I would have just get it in there even a little bit, because they're so good.
I was going to say, I wouldn't want to change fucking Paul Di Bartolo on this album, like that solo in fucking Switchblade Serenade without the finger tapping. It's not that same solo. I'm just saying, if you wanted to fucking snug this up against Alice in Chains and like get in that door, like at the club, like, hey, we're with these guys. That's what you would have needed to do.
Yeah.
I would also put the second album out like a year later than this, rather than waiting until 93.
Yeah, they did wait quite a while, but we also heard from a lot of bands, especially the ones that had releases in 90, a lot of them waited till 93 for whatever reason. I think because they were heavily touring at the time, which probably would have put them off a bit. But if they had come in at the end of 91 or the beginning of 92,
just having that hindsight now,
you wouldn't have known that back then.
Rushed back in and made the second record. Anyway,
add it up. Let's find out where Ray is going to land.
Okay, Ray West of Spread Eagle. We're going back to 1990 now. Comes in on our Violent Vinyl frontman Screamer leaderboard at number 19. Well, pretty high.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Total score of 81.43, coming in just below my man Peter Steele and just above James Hetfield. He is ages above James Hetfield for me.
Listen, if Ray West isn't good being above James Hetfield. I'm sorry, sir. I can't do no better for you. That's pretty good.
I mean, the only people above him at this point are like David Lee Roth, Steven Tyler, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean,
Like
how can you get above them?
Top tier legends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if those guys knew the Type O guys. I mean,
because they were in the scene.
They
at
were
the
in
same
New York
time,
around
yeah.
the same time.
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah.
Dave, Jason McMasters or Ray West, who takes it on our list?
Oh my God, Ray West.
yeah,
by
I think
miles.
I mean, I like them both, but I think Ray might have the edge there.
Can you see where Jason landed on the list? Is it there?
We didn't do any.
We didn't do him on this show.
Oh, that's right. That was the last one.
You guys did him on the last
That's
show.
right. That was
yeah.
the last one. I love Jason McMasters. One of my
But if
favorites.
we did him, Ray West for me would be miles above Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I have a place in my heart for fucking Jason McMasters. That First Nations Toys album, as you all know. Okay, it is time to perform the album Autopsy. Like that?
That's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
I came up with it like 6 months ago. All right.
Thanks,
Track.
Lisa Bella.
Coming in at track number 1, Broken City. All right, so opening up the album, fucking Spread Eagle. I was so excited to sit down and just fucking do this one, man. Just put on my headphones and just went. I listened to this probably, I don't know, maybe 6 times the album leading up to, my final listen when I do my notes. Get this cool opening guitar riff that had me thinking of the Fastway Trick or Treat album, Dave, a little bit. Like, had that flavor.
Sure.
I
love it.
disagree.
Oh, I thought that album was wicked heavy, and it just kind of brought me back there. Band kicks in hard and heavy. Rob and Tommy sound great together, man. They're both such good players. Rob DeLuca's bass sound on this is so fucking good. Kind of like reminds me of Duff McKagan on Appetite. It's just a really stylistic sound that I know immediately when I hear it, like in Switchblade Serenade. It's like, oh, that's fucking, it's Rob DeLuca. Always loved Tommy's drumming. Just his style always reminded me of Tommy Lee. It's just fucking cool. Paul lays down a killer solo that's got that rare mix of sleaze and grit and virtuoso licks. This is what fucking Nuno is missing, man. It can't all be fucking the Berkeley bullshit. It just can't. And and this guy mixes it up perfectly. At moments, it's this sleazy fucking street gritty, like old fucking Eddie Van Halen, not finger tapping blues Eddie. And then he can easily wick it up to where fucking Nuno was and be like, look, I can do it too. I love it. And last but not least, Ray is red hot on this track, delivering sleazy lyrics with tons of attitude and plenty of range. And he makes the Axl Rose face. He's got great rock and roll face in these videos. So good for him. I love this opening track.
Yeah, I've heard this one before back in the day on the radio. Cool riff, double track guitar, very crunchy. It's in Motley Crue tuning. That is, all the guitar strings are dropped in pitch, one step lower than normal. D standard instead of E, like normal guitar. Little heavier sound, And
Does this mean you have to play the white guitar when you play this?
Yep.
Yeah, the Les Paul.
knows it's the white guitar tuning.
the white guitar is the drop tuning. I know.
White guitar tuning.
So it's cool that the guitar tracks are not exactly duplicated on each side. Each part that Paul plays is slightly different. It perks up your attention, at least if you're a guitar player. Great screaming from Ray. The lyrics are gritty. They paint a bleak picture of life in the city, New York, which is way different from the sunshine and palm trees of Hollywood. Also, remember, at this time, 1989 New York was still dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Times Square was still nasty. Des was there, he knows.
Oh, yeah.
And not yet Disneyfied Times Square. You might still get mugged on Avenue A. You can hear a lick in the solo section / bridge that's pretty reminiscent of Switchblade coming up in a few tracks. Just kind of an echo of that. Some crazy guitar soloing on this one. This guy practiced a lot. He definitely shreds. They took the song places rather than just beating up one or two riffs until you're sick of hearing them. The guitar riff is layered with acoustic guitar in the quiet part towards the end before it gets loud again. I think for me, I would have probably chosen Switchblade as the album opening track, but this one sure sets a mood and tells you that these guys are not here to mess around.
Oh, no, I think when you got something like Switchblade, you got to stick it right where they stuck it, man. You don't want to blow your whole fucking wad on the first song. Dave, did you notice that he had changed one of the rhythm guitar sounds a little bit as well?
Like the tone of the guitar?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds...
So to give it that almost like two guitar player feeling sound. Yeah, maybe a little bit, because I noticed that a little bit. Lisa.
I'm so excited we're listening to this. I'm so ready for it. We've had a few episodes now of less rocking albums and certainly less guitar focused albums. So I'm so happy we're getting back to our roots.
All the guitar you can handle.
Oh, dude, to go from Kurt Cobain solos on fucking Nevermind to this is like, that's dramatic. Like
it was such a relief.
It was shock to my system.
Wonderful. I love the dramatic pauses in the intro as this comes in. Great vocals from Ray immediately. A guy that can hit the high notes, has a great tone, has grit when he needs to, but still has a clear vocal when he needs to. This one reminds me, and as I said before, of what Skid Row started doing around this time. The thing is that Spread Eagle beat them to it, right? So Slave to the Grind wouldn't come out until the next year. And here we are, a band with a darker sound, more metal, more forward, definitely the evolution of music at the time. It was not glam. So big guitars from this one for a band with one guitarist. And I understand they're doing tracks, but even so, the way that this was built up, it's a thick sound. Great guitar solo here. Finally, we have a real guitar solo. I like that they gave it tons of space. Like they allowed it to kind of extend on. So shreddy, so many different tones. And at the end, there's this beautiful like layering in the solo that is kind of harmonics. Now, I don't know if that was multiple tracks or if he's actually playing those nice harmonies like at once. You probably know, but beautiful solo. Going right into this gorgeous airy bridge that completely changes the song. We get that right after we get those softer guitar tones. The percussion kind of slides away in this section and it just becomes like a little bit mesmerizing before the hard part of the song comes back in. Great arrangement, especially with the big guitar solo and a sweet stick ending. Oh my God, how long has it been since we've had a good stick ending? Lyrics are great too. A song about hard living in a city where you have no money, but the city is still your home. I can't find a single fault here. Totally aces for me.
Yeah, it's killer tune. Dude, there's a ballad later on the album that kind of Ray's vocal reminds me of Sebastian's vocal on Wasted Time.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm waiting for that. I wanted that one note though. I wanted him to just give me the Wasted Time note, but few men can fucking pull that note off, including Sebastian Bach.
Well, should we bring up our discussion we had the other night?
Yeah.
Okay, what's that?
What, Lorraine? What?
So we were having this discussion about how Ray was hitting the notes that Sebastian was hitting, only Ray could do it live, and Ray can do it in the studio, whereas Sebastian was not hitting these as much live and was doing lots of takes in the studio. Why has Skid Row not considered Ray as their new singer? So I would love to see Skid Row with Ray fronting them.
That would be interesting.
I'm gonna write a letter to Rachel and tell him that. I'm sure we're not the first one to suggest it. So,
all right, coming in at track number 2, Back on the Bitch. All right, first of all, right off the bat, I love the title of this song. It's a fucking great title. This is one of my favorite tracks on the entire album. It has this super heavy groove, and Ray delivers some of my favorite lyrics on the album and some of my favorite delivery on the album. It's so fucking dirty. This one is fucking great. And finally, Paul rips a killer solo on this one that falls more on that sleazy, gritty side. These are the guitars I wanted to hear all the time from him. This is a killer track. Dave.
All right. So yeah, Lisa kind of blew up my comment about this song.
He had that.
And this is where in this song, I really was reminded from Ray's vocal that he's hitting like Sebastian Bach level notes.
Yes.
And I had proposed or asked the question if Skid Row had auditioned Ray to be their new singer yet. And so, you know, may have thrown the suggestion out there. We got a down-tuned guitar riff and also my original notes that there's a slave to the grind vibe here on this song, except this album came out in May 1990 and Skid Row didn't put the grind out until over a year later in June of 1991. So, you know, spread eagles ahead of their time. However, they are rhyming son of a bitch and back on the bitch. So, yeah,
I love son of a bitch.
We'll let it go. The guitar solo is solid and not as shreddy as the last song. I definitely picked that up too. And we get a little gang vocals a little bit on this one. So good song.
Nice.
I can't believe I stole Dave's comment on that.
All my comments.
Now I feel bad.
I can't believe Dave doesn't recall what conversation you guys. You're like, remember that? He's like, really? Was I there?
He wasn't actually listening to me. So, and of course, my first comment, I never noticed back in the day how much this album was like the harder Skid Row stuff that was to come. I never made the connection back then. I'm only doing it now. So I love the changes in this song. A few bars here and a few bars there where the music kind of drops away, or where they drop from the hook back into the chorus. There's like these little pauses or dips in the music, like hesitations almost. I really love that. Another great solo here. Feels dirtier than the first song, more along the lines of like sleaze music, sleaze glam. Not that I'm saying that this is glam, but it's definitely like sleaze music, some like LA Guns feeling. I didn't get much space as their first one, but it still works great with this song. We get a little musical bridge coming out of the solo, maybe like 4 bars. Really love that part. Some great screams from Ray coming out of the solo as well. Highest high notes that he's hitting here. But for me, the highlight of this song is the lyrics, specifically the hook. Well, both of the hooks, if you will. When I get that itch, I'm like a son of a bitch. And like bitches it. Brew, it's got me, and it's got you. But my favorite line in the song is, everybody's got a bitch, baby, you do too.
I love that.
It's so good.
Everybody's got a bitch, baby, you do too.
But before anyone gets all upset about using the word bitch, the song is actually about alcohol addiction. So the bitch in the song is booze, not a woman. The song was actually banned by the program manager at KNAC Radio in LA because she thought it was sexist. They actually met her in person and explained what the song was about and finally got the song back on the radio. It kills me how this album was buried at the time in the same way that Vane kind of was back then. And all of this stuff is so good. You can't not sing along with this one, except that I can't hit those high notes. So we don't want to hear me singing. So I have to sing it like alone. But you can also hear Ray's angry growl in this song. And, you know, kind of like Sebastian's growl in Monkey Business. So we get the darkness and the high notes.
Yeah, the name back on the bitch. It could just, like he says, everyone's got their fucking vice, you know? It's so good. So good. All right, coming in at track number 3, Switchblade Serenade.
The sound you hear is the knife cut. Switchblade Serenade. The sound you hear is the knife cut. Switchblade Serenade.
All right, so I have a personal problem with this fucking song. I love the video. I love the song, so I will stop and watch it anytime it pops up on my YouTube feed, which is like all the time because it knows I'll stop and watch it. Now, here comes the rub. I have OCD, and it's the bad kind of OCD, not the cute kind that everyone thinks they have. Like, I have OCD. I have to have my room just right. Like, no, I've got the dark OCD that you don't want. And this song is so fucking catchy that every time I am brave enough to watch the video or listen to it, I obsessively sing it in my head for 24 hours straight. And this will mean like I'll be going to bed and I'll be like, switch places, or what time we go one-on-one. And I'm just like, all right, shut the fuck up. Don't sing it again. That's it. And I'll wake up in the morning, my eyes will open, and it's like, I come home a little drunk. And I'm like, no, it's cancer. On my head. And it usually takes like, at least 3 or 4 days for it to stop. So I literally have to be careful when I watch this song or hear this song. It's fucked. It's like when I'm in traffic and I catch myself reading license plates. I'm like, you got to stop now. Because if I read a license plate that I can remember, I'll say it to myself 100 times over 7 days until it finally goes away. So I'll be in traffic. I'm like, don't start looking at license plates. That's OCD. That's part of it. And then it goes much deeper and darker. We'll get into that another time.
What's wrong with Destiny?
Little realities that aren't real. You would be surprised. Needless to say, I love this song. Everything is great about it. Killer video, killer lyrics, killer fucking everything. 100-watt song for me. It's just as bad as it gets. Yeah.
I love this song. I've even played it live on stage with my 80s rock cover band, Gypsy Freaks. The song starts off with an acoustic interlude. Very nice. Once the song starts for real, it's dark and atmospheric. The dirty guitars coming in, cut just like Switchblade. Multiple layers of guitars and maybe even some clean or acoustic mixed in there a little bit is what I'm hearing. More backup vocals than we've heard before, especially in the chorus. The song sounds great. It's a very impressive solo. It is tough to play. Guitarist Paul, on the amp that he used for the album from that VW Music Rocks article that we talked about before, he says the amp on that record was a custom-made amp that I had built for me by Bob Gajika. Gjika. I don't know if he's still making amps or not. I'm going to have to look him up and see. But yeah, made by him. And it says, I only used it for that record. I don't recall much of recording the solo on Switchblade. And from Rob's interview with VW Music regarding the difference between the video and the album version of the song, there is a difference.
Yes, Dave, there is a difference because I listened to the record. I'm like, this isn't the song I know. This is different. Okay, I like the video better.
Yeah, the question from the interviewer says, the music video for Switchblade, found on YouTube, features what appears to be a different version of the song. What went into that decision? I asked Paul, and he has no recollection and was surprised to find this out. But if you listen back, it's clearly different. Yes. Rob responds that is a great video directed by our other manager, Scott Calvert, rest in peace. MCA wanted an extra first chorus added to the song. I believe we tried to or wanted to edit the recording tape, but the edit wouldn't work due to the riffs. So we recorded a completely new version with the added chorus at the record plant. End quote. So yeah, that solves the mystery. The video version is definitely different than the album version. They just recorded an entire different recording of the song.
Dave, which one was recorded first, the album version or the video version?
It must have been the album version because
chicken or the egg?
Because he said that they, tried to or wanted to edit the recording tape. So then they had to go back in and do the video version.
Usually you won't capture the magic. Like as a songwriter, like if I demo something up, sometimes I'll go back to like really try and work it. And it almost never has the same flavor and magic of the first one. This version on the video for me is way better than the album. They're very similar, but it just doesn't taste the same to me. I was listening. I'm like, this isn't as good. Still good, but
I like the album version, but maybe because that's what I heard on the radio.
Yes. That's what it is.
The video version.
You get used to something, hearing it one way.
Sure. So, I propose maybe they should add the video version to an album reissue as like an extra track, and you can have both on there. Nowadays, they definitely could have used digital technology to re-edit the song for the video. But back then, you were looking at physically cutting a piece of tape with a razor blade and just stitching it back together. So it's not always possible. The video looks cool. The band is playing in burned out buildings in New York, moving in and out of shadows and running down the street like a gang. I highly recommend you go watch it.
Oh, I love it. Ray West looks so good in that video too, when he's with the chick and they're pulsating on the floor. It's just fucking great. It's fucking great. Lisa.
Super cool.
I mean, what can I say about this song? It's one of my favorites from the entire glam era. Extremely memorable opening. I can name this song in 2 notes.
One note.
I love the acoustic leading into such a sleazy song, and the bass line is almost like, I want to say it's almost like Western or Southern sounding.
So good. It's one note. It's one note. It's so good.
You get that opening vocal scream at like when the main guitar riff comes in. It's just epic. But for me, again, it's the lyrics, and I remember every single word. And if I sing them right now, Des is going to sing them for the next 5 days. But here we go. I got a wicked woman. Woman's got a vicious tongue. Late at night, I come home a little drunk, and we go one-on-one. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
And that's like the sleazy part of the song, right? And then the song like changes into like almost like a pop riff where we get we got problems, baby, that's okay, right? And just the transitions in the song, they're so clean and they work perfectly. And then of course you got the hook, the sound you hear is the knife cut switchblade set. Anyway, love it. And I'll sing that song like you for days as well, but it doesn't ruin my brain the way that it does for you.
Yeah, it fucks me up.
We get another switch right before the guitar solo where the song goes like almost a little frantic, which is kind of neat because the song is about an explosive relationship, right? So it's getting more frantic. It's really cool. We have this beautiful shreddy guitar solo that I've heard Dave play, and he can play it. And, he's always a little bit humble. I've heard him play it. I've heard him play it over and over again. He can definitely do it. And when you say that you make it like you change it a little, I don't hear that. So,
yeah, I cut some corners.
And it's not noticeable to somebody like me who doesn't play guitar. Like, I don't hear the difference. So this one had a video that Dave talked about and Des talked about. I saw it on MTV, but remember, they didn't play this video very much. And I wonder, there is some, I want to call it domestic violence in the video. There's, people throwing each other around, and they definitely played this like later at night, but it wasn't banned, which I'm thankful for. So at least we got to see it back in the day. It was kind of a genuine display of a bad relationship. So I appreciated that. I do like the scenes of the band chased by the cops and the concert footage in there as well. They were sticking to the theme of the song, though, I guess. And at least when we see it now, all these years later, it's still really super cool, even with all of that stuff that was so controversial back in the days in it. And the band looks great, and Ray looks great, and they are on the line of LA Guns or Skid Row in their look, super cool, dark. There's no neon here, there's no big hair here, there's no flashing neon lights or pink guitars here. They were doing this before a lot of the other bands took this step, so they were ahead of their time. I can't possibly love this song any more than I do.
Rob DeLuca playing that SG bass, so fucking cool, man.
Extra cool.
Oh my God, they look great. Fucking and something I noticed about this song that really worked for it that you would miss in a lot of the albums we do here, like when you don't know exactly what the singer is singing, he was so articulate with his words on this particular song. Every single word, and it works for it. It's really, really good. All right, coming in at track number 4, Hot Sex.
Just what I'm really trying to say. I gotta have it 100 times a day. Hot sex, pushing to the limit. Oh yeah, doing it till we're satisfied. Hot sex, pushing to the limit. Hot sex,
All right, so I have to keep it real. And if you guys listen to the show, you probably already know what I'm going to say here. There is a fine line between sex action and hot sex. Okay. It's a fine line, but you, my sir, have stepped over it. Okay. I'm not crazy about the title of this tune. And lyrically, this one for me is just a little too lipstick 80s hair metal. I know it's cheeky. I get when they're doing the gang vocals, they're saying, you know, this is fun. Laugh at this with me. I don't want to. It doesn't need to be on this album. It's not that it's a bad song, because these guys are great players and they're not going to, like, you know, lay down a shitty tune. It's just not going to happen. But just for me, it's not for me. I can see how other people might love this song on the album, but just for me, it's not for me. I have to keep it real. I will say the guitar solos, and there's a couple on this one, are fucking killer. And most people think Nuno Bettencourt when they think best guitar player in Boston, like best hair metal guitar player in Boston all times. I submit that Paul is firmly in the conversation with Nuno and does not get the respect that he deserves, nationally, worldwide, or locally. And if I had to pick one of these two guys to play on my record, it wouldn't even be close. It would be Paul Di Bartolo all day long. I like the edge to his style much more. Dave.
All right. So I looked up, we were talking about on the last song about the amp that Paul was using on this album and how it was a custom made amp by a gentleman named Bob Jika. I'm assuming maybe that's the way I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the name, but I looked it up and apparently this guy is still going. He's got a website at jikaamplification.com. Again, that's GJIKA amplification.com. He's got a website. He sells amps. He will build you an amp. They have a YouTube channel at Bob Jika, BOBGJIKA, and you can listen to some of their amps and look at, I guess, how they build them and stuff. So if you want a custom made amp for yourself, check it out.
And in that picture you just showed of the Jika amps, it was a picture of what looked like your newest guitar up there.
What, this?
No, there was a in the YouTube. It looked exactly like your guitar. Anyway, the amps look really cool. They have a cool logo on them, and they look a little like throwback, I would say.
They have to be good.
Vintage.
They have to be good if he's still making them.
Yeah, go to the top of the YouTube there. That one.
Oh, yeah, it's like a Sunburst Strat. I have a Sunburst Telecaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It's close. I actually do have a Sunburst Strat in the storage unit.
Of course you
do.
I traded a guy a brand new silver Telly, American made, for a 74 Fender Stratocaster on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
I got a Frankenstrat. Wasn't all original. It had some things going on with it. I love the guitar. It's a hardtail. Jim's played it. It was a great guitar, but it just wasn't what it was presented to be. And this guy got a way more expensive guitar. I didn't bust his balls. I didn't fucking care. Too many guitars.
Well, if it plays good, that's what counts.
Yeah, and I'll sell it as original. I'll sell it as original eventually. As this sucker.
Pass along the whatever.
Yeah. The bad deal.
So yeah, Hot Sex. Are you really surprised that a band named Spread Eagle has a song called Hot Sex? I feel like this band is better than this song.
Better than this song.
Yeah, they have more substance. However, this definitely must have been great on the playlist in New Jersey nudie bars in 1990. They should have given this one to like Warrant or Poison. I'd expect it from, jokers like that. The music is really good, though. The guitar solo is slippery as, dare I say, KY jelly.
Hot sex.
I'll be spinning this song over at the Cabaret Lounge on Route 1 next Saturday night.
Amber will be taking the center stage to Hot Sex. Lisa, Hot Sex. What do you think about it?
Yeah, straight to it on this one, huh?
Woo!
I mean,
no foreplay.
Take off the plates.
Super cheesy lyrics, but we needed some cheese in
No, we
in
didn't.
that time period. So I'll take you up to the limit, get down to 69.
Oh, come on.
I think this song is fitting for the era. I think it wouldn't fly today. It has a nice beat. The music is great, a little bit bluesy. The guitars are so big and so layered. It keeps up that big sound from back then. I like the gang vocals. I think, Dave, you mentioned, or did you mention the gang vocals? Anyway.
I mentioned on a different song. But.
Yeah. So we have it in the hook with Ray singing Hot Sex and the band returning Push It to the Limit. I actually really liked that. Nice sleazy solo here, slower and more thoughtful. Kind of like they broke into the solo with the hook of the song, which was a different way to arrange it, but I kind of like that. We get a melody shift as the song goes on, almost an improvised vocal in the playout, like Steven Tyler type vocal in the playout. He's hitting these impossibly high notes throughout the song and never cracking, and I've seen him do these runs live. It's real. It's not overproduced. This man can sing exactly like this, and he still can.
Dude, this is like I was saying, you're trying to get into the club with all the Seattle bands. Like you're closed and you're like,
Yeah.
You've got your fake ID. You're like 20. You're not quite 21. You got your fake ID. I'm the bouncer. I'm at the door. I'm looking at the fucking ID. I'm looking at Spread Eagle. I'm like, all right, you guys. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Hold
up.
I can't let you in. No, it's not. You get what I'm saying. All right. Coming in at track number 5, Susie Suicide.
She's out having fun. She's got a loaded gun. No man calls her public enemy number 1. Susie Suicide. She's on a one-way ride. Susie Suicide. Susie Suicide. She's on a one-way ride. Susie Suicide. You wanna...
So finally on this album, we're going to get to hear Tommi Gallo play some double bass, and he fucking brings it. This is red hot. This is fucking great, man. I absolutely love it. Paul gets this great stereo guitar sound here. Dave, did you notice how wide the guitars were on this track?
Yeah.
The crazy guitar fucking stereo sound going on here. More great lyrics. Tons of energy here on the vocal. I loved it. Super sleazy. And it's got a good catchy chorus. I thought it was a good song. So it's a winner for me. Susie Suicide. I wish there were more. I wish they were all Susie Suicides and Back on the Bitch and Switchblade Serenade. These are fucking killer tunes, man. Lisa or Dave, someone.
Fucking metal. Take that, Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Big riff, double kick bass drum, and the riff sounds a little jocketish. We get some jazzy chords in there. Great shred guitar solo. Paul is definitely an underrated guitarist who should have been in the guitar magazines. He seemed to have skill both in the bluesy Van Halen guitar style and some like the neoclassical Yngwie stuff too. The song is pretty cool. The lyrics on this one have a lot of rhyming. You know, she's the wildest thing that you've ever seen. Bad boys call her a wrecking machine.
What's wrong with that?
I like that.
What's
I
wrong
like
with that?
that.
It sounded great.
It's not a crime or anything. The song is still a good listen and totally rocking.
She's a wrecking machine. Those lyrics are
like
fucking
that.
good.
Oh.
Yeah. Lisa, what do you got in this one?
So hear me out. The intro has a little bit of thrash metal in it with like a super fast double bass percussion and this incredibly high BPM.
Sure.
But there's like a small second in the guitar riff where I hear a little bit of Randy Rhoads in there as it comes in. Lyrics are delivered in almost a punk style, straightforward, not a lot of switching melodies, hard, fast, and frantic. Reminds me of Motley Crue's first album. There's even some riffs as he's delivered in the verse that sound like Livewire, like Starry Eyes. We get both sides of the Motley Crue spectrum in this song. Lyrics, they call her Susie Suicide. She runs wild and she ain't afraid to die. It's like very early Motley Crue.
Hell yeah.
And of course, I read the line later in the song. Lawman calls her public enemy number 1. Maybe an actual shout out homage to the Crue.
I would say.
Yeah. Pure 80s glam metal goodness. And I know this is not a glam band, but we're going back to that, not like Poison glam. I'm talking about early 80s Motley
Too Fast
Crue
for Love.
glam. Yes, exactly. We get more metal in this guitar solo, big metal screams leading into it. Fast, it's melodic, it's almost classical. I think Dave picked out the Yngwie stuff, which I also did. And before I forget to mention, holy huge bass in this song. It's fast, it's pulsing.
That's what she said.
As it has been in every song, and I really haven't mentioned it yet, but they really brought it forward in the mix of this song. It's absolutely fantastic. Rob really needs to get like more credit here. He's just super killer on this song. Coming out of it, we get a deep version of Ray's voice that you almost never hear. There's not enough of this on this album. I love the lower registers of his voice. This is one of those songs that you listen to in the car and it makes you drive a little too fast before you realize it, you know, and it makes you remember who you were in 1990. So.
So I was talking to Dylan about this album and about how when you put guys like this that are like, they're capturing this nice sleazy street sound, which is really cool, but they're also Berklee graduates and high level musicians. You're going to get these little moments where where bands that don't have this level of musicianship cannot reach. And it'll be like, wait a second, we just went from the gutter to fucking like, you know, it's wild, like with little jazz moments and little, classical fucking feeling changes that you would just never get from guys that just don't have that level of musicianship. It's a lot of fun to listen to them weave in and out of this virtuoso to street grit. It's wild. Listen to it. And sometimes it's very subtle the way they're doing it. It's not slapping you in the face. You're just like, wow, that's some deep gravy flavors. That must have been on the stove for a while.
Yeah.
Coming in at track number 6, Dead of Winter. All right, so we get a little different flavor on this one, which is nice. I'm glad that they were able to turn the dial on a couple of songs so it just wasn't all, the same thing. Kind of like the way that Dangerous Toys first album was, where it was just a lot of the same stuff. I love what Ray is doing here. We get quality lyrics with great vocals, and on this one, we're going to get lots of layered harmonies, which he's not doing a ton of it on this album. He's doing a lot of just like, standing on his power, standing on his grit. This one, we're going to get multiple tracks, multiple harmonies. I really, really liked it. Bass and drums right in the pocket with tons of mojo. These two play so well together. And Paul delivers another great solo. This guy is just so fucking damn good. It's a good tune.
This one reminds me a little of Nobody's Fault by Aerosmith. There's that Boston influence creeping in. Good groove, solid rocker. Even when Paul starts playing fast, he doesn't overdo it with the guitar shredding. The fade out is weirdly long, but you can still hear all the crazy guitar licks going on. I think it's a great ending to side A. I like this one. And I like the difference in flavor.
Yes.
So they're not just going back to the same well every time.
Yeah, make me miss it. Make me miss it a little bit and come back to it. Please.
I almost wish they ended the side with the last song because I like a real banger at the end of an album, but I'm not mad because then we get this great song at the end of it too. We get a theatrical opening, and because of how hard the album is before, I was imagining like, this is going to, even if it's a ballad, it's going to be a heavy ballad, right? And that's exactly what we're getting. And then I go, it's like the ballads that are on Skid Row Slave to the Grind. And then I have to keep reminding myself, no, Slave to the Grind is like this album because it came later. So
I wonder if there was some influence.
There had to have been.
If they knew each other.
East Coast guys.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, or if they were hanging out at a club and they saw...
Yeah, you can't tell me Skid Row didn't go to New York to see them. So.
And that they saw these guys on stage and was like,
And as good as Scotty and the Snake are, they're not playing in the same fucking basketball game as Paul Di Bartolo. Like some of these fucking runs and scales he's playing are so fucking next level and so clean. It's like, whoa.
Yep. So there's this moment in the song where there's a dead air stop. And you know how we've talked about, they leave mistakes in the song. I don't think this is a mistake really, but there's this dead air stop and you hear Ray take his breath in, to do the next vocal. That's my favorite part of the song. I love it so much. I cannot get enough of that. We get this big verse. There's a story. Never took a look around to see where I was going. Now I'm too far gone and I can't get back on the track I knew. I love that. It's absolutely fantastic. Nice hook to the song. Then we get almost like a White Snake feel as the song changes. Yeah.
Yes, I heard that.
Kind of in the bridge there, I think it is. It's too late for me now to call it all a day. Should I come home to you, baby, and throw these dreams away? So like a guy's on the road and he's missing his girl at home and he's like, should I throw my band away for my girl? Or, what should I do? I really like that. And right at the end, we get this halting vocal delivery and this growl going into the guitar solo. Great bridge, beautiful example of how amazing these arrangements are. Usually you get like an 8-bar or a 16-bar bridge. And in this song, it was way longer than that. And it was absolutely perfect. Drops directly into a crazy solo that's merged perfectly. Vocal fade. We get another tempo. We get almost a jam session in the play out, I would say. And a bonus guitar solo that almost goes maybe a little synthy as it fades away. With how big power ballads were back at the time, I'm actually surprised that MCA didn't push this one or another ballad that we'll talk about, because 1990, the power ballad, that was like what was making money, right? Why wasn't MCA there to push this? Why wouldn't they pay for these videos? Like, why did we not get more of this? Instead, we got Mr. Big and Firehouse and the stuff that killed glam metal rather than something like this, which would have kept it alive.
Yeah.
So.
No, totally. And, no disrespect for the Skid Row Boys. I was more to the point of this band had like a generational lead guitar player, like, Warren DeMartini, Rat, George Lynch, Dawkins, Randy Rhoads. I mean, this guy's that good. He's a guitar hero. He's like an actual guitar hero, Yeah. So that was kind of like where I was going with that. And yeah, I think you're right, Lisa. How many bands actually got, once their ballad hit MTV, that's what really sealed, So yeah, they just didn't get their shot with that. All right, that ends side A. Let's head over to the Should They Have Made It segment. Tonight's featured band is Soho Roses with their song, 'Cause of You. Never heard of them. Lisa, what do you got on these guys? Or Dave? Or both of you?
We're going, do you want to go first? You go first.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just found some publicly available information from Wikipedia that says Soho Roses were a glam punk band from London. They emerged from the British glam scene along with Hanoi Rocks, the Dogs d'Amour, Babysitters, and the Choir Boys.
Fuck you, Gary Ivan.
Fuck you, you little twat.
Oh boy.
Gaining popularity during the late 1980s with a series of singles and an album before splitting in 1989. So it seems like they were operating from 87 to 89. They released an EP on their own and got some press in Kerrang and Metal Hammer magazines. They played several times at the famous Marquee Club in London. And a few of the guys joined the Wild Hearts in the early 90s. That's what I got.
So the band, as Dave said, did have a really short lifespan. They actually did form in 1986, but under a different name. They were called the V2s, and they had a slightly different lineup. In 1987, they would switch over to their new name, which would be Soho Roses. If you listen to their catalog of songs, you'll hear glam, but you can also hear very clear like post-punk influences. The band, the V2s, was actually more post-punk than it was glam, and they had kind of a switch as they got the new members. The band was founded by their guitarist, Andy the Riff Socratos. Sorry if I smudged your name, Andy, who'd previously been the guitarist of the punk band The Dark. And after some lineup changes, they recruited Paul Blitz Toombs, as well as when the Riff left. And when the Riff left, that was kind of the post-punk influence, like walking out the door, and when they really kind of became a real glam punk band. Their new guitarist, Andy J. Davies, trashy, punky, like rock and roll guitar, kind of led them away from the post-punk. So the members at the time were Pat Panache Walters, Julian Dean Parker, Andy DeGray Davies, and Paul Blitz Toombs. They self-financed their EP, which was called Whatever Happened To, which is a great name for a band that kind of disappeared. Whatever Happened To on Trash Can Records in London. And because of the finances, they were given the choice to either remix their EP or release it on pink vinyl as it was. Anyone want to guess which one they actually did?
Pink vinyl.
Pink vinyl. Yep. And it's actually like a powder pastel pink. It looks really cool even to this day. They did receive great reviews for this album and for their live performances, which you can still see on YouTube. Kerrang! Magazine was a huge proponent of them. According to Wiki, following a gig supporting teenage idols at the Marquee Club in 1988, Stevie James of Tiger Tails allegedly punched a member of the Soho Roses entourage, triggering a huge notorious fight that resulted in James being ejected from the club. The rise in glam in 87 really helped them out and really like kind of pushed the London glam scene even bigger. In 89, bassist Julian Jules Dean did leave the band, and that's what caused it collapse. But not before recording the 1989 third and final Insult album. The album wasn't released until fall of that year, so they never really got to reap the benefits of it because they were essentially done by that point. Jules would go on, as Dave said, to join the Wild Hearts along with Pat Walters, which obviously we've talked about the Wild Hearts before. This is singer-guitarist Ginger, formerly of the Choir Boys. Fuck you, Gary Ivan, number 2.
Fuck you, you little twat.
The band would eventually feature Bam Ross, the drummer of Dogs D'Amour, and also an amazing silversmith with his Bamtastic Silver Company. Julian would suffer. This is a sad story. So I was having a hard time finding any mention of Julian after like 2000 or so. And I ended up going down the rabbit hole, and I found a blog posted by Julian's father. And Julian apparently suffered a brain injury in 2004, and from that point forward had trouble communicating. Updates around 2011 record him having many surgeries, but I haven't been able to find anything recent on him. And one of the interesting stories is that he really couldn't communicate. He basically communicated with like thumbs up and things like that with his father. But his father says that there was a point where someone called him from back in the day, from the scene, from the old band, and he had a full conversation with the person on the phone.
Wow.
And then hung up the phone and was gone again.
Wow.
Yeah, like crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. Anyway, Pat, who would also play in a band called Guns and Wankers. Have you ever heard that band?
Sounds familiar.
It was a band that was kind of like the name. They're not a Guns N' Roses cover band. Let me just say that it was supposed to insult the LA glam movement, and they were supposed to be like "fuck you" to the glam movement or whatever. That band actually was members of the Wild Hearts in a band called Snuff. He's now known as Patrice Panache. Paul would join a band called Scarlet Tears, and as of a year ago is still reported to be playing. And Andy did continue to play as well and also became a producer. He would play in the band Badhead and Guns and Wankers, and then produce and engineer albums from tons of artists, including black metal band Neroth, singer Tina, hardcore band Mercury League, punk band Deadline, alternative band Metatrons, rockabilly ska band The Zipheads, and the indie band Frog Stupid. So every genre you can think of, he's had his hands in engineering and mixing. He has a studio, Dama Dive Studio, and is co-owner of Earthworks Studios, which was a mainstay in London as far as recording. What he would do is he would restore old recording analog equipment and had like a fully functional analog recording studio for people to come and use. But he also had a studio full of modern technology, which was really cool. But Dylan, I'm sad to say, we're going to need a gong. He unfortunately passed in December of last year. Yeah. Side note, the band had some great merch. I'd love to get my hands on one of those black and pink t-shirts with the band members as cartoons. Really super cool.
All right. Let's spin the track. All right. So, like I said, I'd never heard of this band. Never laid ears on them. They look great, obviously. Really unusual look, kind of in that Hanoi Rocks sort of flavor. Sounds like Hanoi Rocks, definitely had that same flavor to me. Really catchy chorus. In fact, I was singing it. It almost wormed me. It almost got me. I think I sang it for about an hour after I listened to it. I was like, okay, stop with that. Really good harmonies, and it's got really great blues guitars and that sort of Andy McCoy vein. Interesting though, because the verse of the song really has sort of that Hanoi like rock feel to it, and then the chorus almost like steps into pop 80s like rock. Almost like that movie that Hugh Grant is in, where he plays the washed up fucking pop guy trying to write this word and lyrics.
Pop Goes My Heart.
But then pop goes my heart.
Yeah. So it almost goes into Pop Goes My Heart. Thank you, Dave. Almost goes into Pop Goes My Heart. And I loved it. It worked for me totally, Dave.
Yeah, I like this song. The singer is very smooth, maybe too smooth. I almost was missing a little gruffness or some screaming or something like that. Good light harmony, backup vocals, and definite punk rock feel. I hear a little of Dion's Runaround Sue in the song. That's cool. No problems here. Yes, should have made it. Does he think they should have made it?
Oh, I definitely think they should have made it. This one for me was a 91.9. I thought it was kick ass.
91.9. All right. So yeah, I think they should have made it. I'm giving them a 78.5. Last week, Lisa also mentioned Why Do You Break My Heart by them. I also listened to that, and it was also good. I like it.
I had 94.9 written in my notes, but I couldn't go there. I just step off the edge. I just step back off the edge. Lisa.
First thing I noticed about this song is that the version that I heard is so well produced, and that's because they actually re-released all their music in 2007 with more modern production on it. I love the kind of 50s punk, Hanoi vibe that they have. Totally danceable. I love the layered vocals. I'm not sure if it's the band doing the backing vocals on this, or if it's the lead singer also layering the vocals to do the backing vocals, but it sounds great. Chords in this song, it's so bright and happy. We actually saw when we did the New York Dolls album that they had like happy poppy music and then really, really sad lyrics, which is kind of what we have here. It's about missing a girl who cheated on him. So he says, if you could only see the mess I'm in, and it's all because of you. Yeah. If you don't really listen to the lyrics, you would almost think this was like a sweet romantic song or something like that. Looking back, I almost thought you cared. When I think of all the times we shared, then I saw you with another boy and my heart was broken. Oh,
Aw, poor dude.
Yeah. Nice bridge here, goes a little bit darker, fun little guitar solo, super short. Like the song is super short. It's punk format, right? The guitar solo is super short. The whole thing, was over in a couple of minutes. I would have liked to hear a solo maybe, and this is, maybe not what you guys would have wanted to hear. Maybe a little bit of CeCe DeVille solo on top of this song because of like the 50s. Yeah, Des is going, no.
I want CeCe. I just wanted a big Andy McCoy solo. Let's give me a dirty fucking British solo.
Yeah. They have lots of other songs. I listened to their whole catalog. They do have a song called Sweet 16 that I could do without. To be fair, it was on par with what everyone else was doing at the time back then. The song Teenage Dream, Fantasy, Sweet 16. No, thank you. But anyway, it was a great guitar solo on that song. My favorite song by them, as Dave mentioned, is Why'd You Break My Heart? It's cute, it's fun, it's totally Hanoi sounding. Maybe even a little bit of the Ramones coming in there with some punk. I think this band is great. They looked great. The album cover, they looked absolutely incredible. I don't know if you noticed the drummer's shoes. Oh my God, I need to have those shoes. So glam punk, incredibly British, great sound. If you get a chance, go look up their live performance. There's a song called So Lone that you can actually see them play live. It is way more raw than the album, way more like glam punk. The drummer is absolutely killing it in this song. The crowd is like a giant mosh pit. It's actually it's crazy. And the singer has this huge blonde hair, like someone we knew back in the day that had that as well. I 100% believe they should have made it. I'm giving them a 90.2.
Oh, I was the highest one.
Yep.
I'm glad I stepped back a little. I would have looked goofy. All right, add it up.
Okay, on the Violent Vinyl, should they have made it chart? We have Soho Roses with 'Cause of You coming in at...
Calculating.
Number 9 with a score of 86.87, putting them right below Flash Addict, Into the Smoke.
Actually tied with Flash Addict.
Oh my God, tied exactly.
Our first tie?
Yeah, our first tie, 86.87. Yeah. And right above the Love Tribe, Stuck in the Middle with You.
Oh, I love the Love Tribe. I want
Stuck in the Middle. It's not Stuck in the Middle with You.
Stuck in the Middle live.
I stuck that on there.
I've heard that before. Stuck in the Middle with You.
Yeah. Stuck in the middle with you.
I don't know. Okay. So that's it. If you guys are listening to the show on vinyl, why don't you flip it over to side B? I'll wait. Coming in at track number 7, Scratch Like a Cat. So this one gets a cool video. I know you guys are going to talk about it, so I won't stomp all over it, but it's raw. It's got a ton of energy. As for the tune, this is great 80s metal, not hair metal, metal. At one point, there's a gang vocal that sounds like it's off of Anthrax's Spreading the Disease album. Like, it took me right back to that like Madhouse moment. And this is where it occurred to me that Spread Eagle is sneaky heavy, right? Like, this band is heavier than they appear to be. Song has a great arrangement, really nice soft section where it breaks down a little. And then Paul Di Bartolo rips another fucking blistering dynamic solo. I say dynamic because just like in Switchblade Serenade, he'll fucking flip it on a dime. He'll be doing one thing and then just in some virtuoso Berkeley way, just like move it somewhere else that a mortal man couldn't do. And it's fucking dynamite. Yeah, it's fucking great. Perfect mix of street grit and super high level musicianship. It's a rare combination back in 1989, and these guys had it dialed in, and I love this fucking track. Yeah.
This one has a similar vibe to Switchblade. The scratchy guitar noises at the beginning are great. In my copy, I'm missing the low end on this song. I don't know if it's universal to the album, but there's no deep bass. It's all gone. It sounds like a problem with the mixing or mastering. It's there on the other songs I've heard on the album. And just like, I can't ignore it for this song,
weird.
But yeah,
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah,
Wait till you hear my first comment.
I didn't notice it.
Okay.
Think your earbuds were broken?
Maybe.
No. I checked the other songs on the album. They all had it. And this one just doesn't. Like,
should you start wearing the earpieces on stage?
Yeah, maybe.
Lisa's always pushing on
ear
you.
monitors.
Ear monitors?
So yeah, I mean, this song has good backups, some interesting chord changes, and Ray even sings really sweet in the bridge.
Yeah.
I don't think we've heard that part of his voice yet on the album. It sounds really good. I'd love this song if my copy had a full frequency spectrum. Like I said, maybe it's just my computer went funny ripping the CD into my iTunes or something, maybe. But I even checked on YouTube and it sounded a little light compared to the rest of the songs on the album.
Interesting.
But, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm nuts. Legend has it that the band's record label, MCA, did not promote the band very much. That's true. And there was a video produced for this song, but it was financed by the band themselves because MCA refused to pay for it. So the video starts showing close-ups of the bass and the guitar, and they are beat up. You can see these guys put the miles on their instruments.
Well, the MCA wasn't paying for gear either.
New
so,
guitars.
Yeah.
Ray proudly wears some Joey Ramone style sunglasses. The whole video is the band playing on stage. It looks like they're playing in an empty, closed place in the afternoon, which is what I'd imagine exactly what happened. The band is rocking, though. Killer guitar licks. The drummer makes some great funny faces. Small gripe for me, they show the band guys singing backups where there are no backups, but maybe that's only funny to me. Good video though for not having record company cash behind it. And my favorite YouTube comment on this video is from somebody named Tony Curlin 4229, and he says, when the bassist is wearing jeans and cowboy boots with no shirt, then it's going to be rock and roll. It really is that simple. Cowboy boots can affect the bass tone. Seriously.
Oh.
You tell him, Tony.
That's fucking
I think this
hilarious.
guy needs to listen to our show.
That's fucking hilarious, Lisa.
So this is funny that you say you didn't hear the bass, because my first comment on this song is great bass opening on this one from Rob. He's out in front the whole song.
Yeah, like I said to you, it's like I can hear the notes of the bass guitar, but it's the bass frequency that I was missing, like of the bass guitar and the drums and all that, just like the low frequencies on the recording.
Kind of like your band had a problem with sound the other night when I said, you have no low end, please fix that. And they did. So it was okay. So for me, great bass opening on this one, great metal scream from Ray. For this one, for me, this is one of their signature songs. Like this is one of the ones that I know inside and out. The pre-chorus in this gives us almost a completely different song, like 2-for-1 hooks, 2-for-1 verses. Great hook, but they needed to repeat it more. A secondary line here to add more of a piece of content or separation would have been great. We get another scream later in the song. How did this man not blow up his voice? It's just crazy to me. Great bridge in this one. This is what Skid Row would do in their next album. Maybe they heard some of this on there. And the bridge itself, and if I should die tomorrow, don't say a prayer for me. Pray for the lonely children and hope they don't turn out like me. So I love that. Lyrics on this one are really dynamic. Some of the other songs on this album are a little more simple, but this one was really much richer. Another great guitar solo, and we haven't talked about this yet, but his solos are flashy and shreddy like Yngwie, but I would say more like George Lynch, because to me, Yngwie plays cold, right? And George Lynch has like feeling, right? So to me, it's more like that, has feeling in it, but it's still shreddy and classical like Yngwie.
Sure.
So,
well, like I said, he's got both.
Yeah.
He's got that, and he's got the Van Halen bluesy side.
Yeah. So great guitar tricks throughout the whole song. Some of the biggest screams on the album are in the final seconds of this one as the band kind of collapses into itself. I also saw the video, and yes, they did self-finance this one. They look great. They look very metal, shirtless guys in jeans. What else can you want? They almost look more like a band like Death Angel or Megadeth than they do, certainly not a hair band, maybe even a tiny bit of later Guns N' Roses look or something like that.
Totally.
There is
more street.
Yeah, more street. There is tons of hair in this video, though. I will say that they hadn't cut their hair yet, like some of the other guys do end up doing later. I feel like they'd already made the transition into what the path forward for music should have been, and the fact that they were overlooked is just heartbreaking to me. So, yeah. Oh, and did you see in the video the guitarist says "sex" on it?
Yes.
I missed that one.
You missed it?
It's huge white letters. It says "sex."
I was mesmerized by like the skull glued to his guitar.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch him pull off that solo though. Like live, it's like wow.
He plays the same guitar in both videos. The Sex Black Strat.
Yeah, and you know what? This song is also a little bit fun. It's loud. Not everything needs to be serious here, right? It's.
I honestly feel like this guy is a way better guitar player than George Lynch. That might be controversial take, like a hot take, but I just think George Lynch was kind of a one-trick pony, and I think that Paul Di Bartolo could show you 1,000 styles. You'd sit there and be like, really? You could play that too? Holy shit.
And even later in life, he would go into jazz. He would go into other styles and, spiritual music. He can play anything.
I mean, a little
So-
later on this album, we're going to get a
Mhm.
different style. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Coming in at track number 8, Through These Eyes.
I don't need sympathy, no. God in heaven, I'll tell you why I've grown so cold. It's the things that I've seen. Through these eyes.
So here we're going to get it. It's a nice little power ballad. This one should have made it to MTV. It never did. It shows a different side of Ray's voice that I thought was great. And I would have visited more on this album if, I was producing it. We already said it. It had a little Sebastian Bach, more than a little. It had a lot of Sebastian Bach flavor with a nice mix of power and polish. It showed that this guy isn't just a screamer. He can also sing. And Paul, he's just ridiculously good. I'm not going to go into it again, but fuck, man, what a great solo. Guess I just did. Dave.
More dark and mysterious acoustic guitar. The other instruments fade in nicely. This song is really good. It's got a nice melody. I like the vibe of the song. And then, wow, unexpected heavy bridge. They come back to the chorus and the melody changes from before. Finally, they end back at the soft acoustic. I feel like this song should have been like the centerpiece of their show. I don't know, how often they played this, like back, in the old days. The shows that I saw from 92 on YouTube, I don't even think they played it. But yeah, I love this song. It's really good.
Lisa.
We get Ray's beautiful singing voice, not screaming in this one, and there's so much emotion in it. You definitely believe what he's singing. We get a structured song in the era of the 90s power ballads where you have acoustic into electric and then back to acoustic. It was, perfectly set up for that. And let's be fair, they're one of the first to do it. Maybe the first that definitely did it before Skid Row. So, it's interesting because the lyrics also follow that same pattern. We get like the sweetness and the lung and the sadness, and then it gets angrier, and then it comes out again in the end, sadness, right? And then he starts to tell you why he's so upset. And that's when the emotions go so angry. He says, so tell me why. I've been ripped apart and left here to die. Crimes of love, crimes of hate. It's just, you can absolutely believe him when he says these things. We get a nice guitar solo that starts out just pure emotion, and then it does turn a little shreddy towards the end, which I actually think is kind of fitting. Not sure if you noticed, but the solo, the tone of the guitar continues into the chorus play out under the vocal tracking when it comes back in, and like there's like this almost melody that's running underneath the vocals, and I absolutely love that so much. And then in classic 90s fashion, it drops back into acoustic, and we get a final maybe 30 seconds or so acoustic sort of play out. I love this one, and just like you guys said, it's an absolute crime that there's no video for this one. This could have been their explosion onto the scene. Yeah, because it seems like all these bands broke through on their ballads, and that's how you found their heavier songs. It's a crime that MCA didn't support them in this way, and a huge miss by this record label. Could have been a monster hit, would have made them tons of money, and you know what? Fuck them. Fuck MCA. Fuck MCA. They didn't deserve it.
Yeah, this should have been a single.
Well, I mean, we said it on the Theater of Pain episode, without Home Sweet Home, does Motley Crue even make another album?
Yeah, no.
Probably not. Probably like you go to rehab and we're all done here.
Yep.
All right, coming in at track number 9, Spread Eagle. So right here, we're going to get the title track to the album, and this one is a dirty bird. Unlike Hot Sex, this one has cheeky lyrics, but they're great. They're good. They're clever. It works for the band. It's gritty. It's dirty. It's fun. It's what you want in a cheeky song. This is sex action. This is like the line I've said. They didn't step over it here. It works. It works well. The great lyrics, great vocals, and it had that Big Guns flavor for me. Kind of reminded me of Big Guns off that Skid Row album. It's amazing that they did. They kind of had developed this sound before Skid Row. I mean, presumably. I mean, unless, they had been to some Skid Row rehearsals. I don't know. Rob has a great bass sound on this track and on this entire album, and he's really punching in on this song. Plays great on this one. It's a cool track with another greasy as fuck guitar solo. Oh man, he is just effortlessly ripping through scales here that I'm like, what? So clean, Dave.
Oh, fuck yeah. Here we go. I definitely know this one from back in the day. Motley Crue wishes that they wrote this. Yeah. Holy shit, this song rules. I forgot how good it was. The lyrics are a little silly, but the whole thing is so good. Who cares? And I mean, Des, you're right about, they took it kind of to the edge of where, but they didn't go too crazy.
They stayed in bounds.
Right. And the band makes some nice stops in the song that grab your attention. This is so badass. You're singing along. Don't deny it.
Yeah, I didn't have to throw a flag. We watched instant replay. He caught the ball in bounds. They're fine. Lisa.
I love this song. It's kind of like having a signature song, right? Because it's the name of your band. It's like Steel Panther has Eyes of a Panther, Blue Tiger has Tiger Town, Spread Eagle has Spread Eagle. And honestly, for a signature song like this, it's a requirement to be full of 80s cheese, and damn straight that we have that here. We have sex and women and cars and money and drugs and parties. This is the 80s, right? I like how they worked the band name in, because it's, the band name itself is a naughty connotation thing to begin with, right? So it's cheeky, it's naughty as it is. It's a hook that you can't avoid singing along to. Great bridge musically. Now, my note is, do the lyrics go a little too far into 80s cheese? Do they go over the edge? Woman, I just want to take you away. Baby, there's nothing wrong with mixing your work with that play. No, work with play. Come on and play. Is that a little too far or no? No, maybe not, because the song is so good.
It was close. His feet were in bounds. It was close.
Yeah, his feet were in bounds. Yeah, I think it's the delivery of woman and baby that makes me go a little bit, but it's okay, it's fine. Hey, at least she's a woman and not a girl. So kudos to you, Ray, because she's actually of age. So good for you. Guitar solo, I hear a tiny bit of CeCe DeVille at the beginning, which is, I do. No. I also like that when the solo is ending and Ray comes back in, he comes in with this little like, ooh, and then like, go, 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 go. The solo actually follows his lyric entry there. And I don't know how they did it unless they recorded that together in the way maybe live that Scuzzy Yeti did, because it was so perfectly matched. I don't know how they could have done it any other way. I love the super cheese ending, Spread 'em. Great strip club song. Yeah, that was fun. Music is finally fun again. So
that was fun, especially after last week. Oh, so depressing.
It's such a relief.
But I will say, over the last week or two, Nirvana has come on the radio when driving to work, and I might have bumped it up a little bit. All right, coming into track number 10, 42nd Street. So this one felt like the intro to Shotgun Kiss, the next song coming up. And I was a little confused on why they split them up. I mean, it's obviously the same song. It would have flowed right into it without even a pause. It wouldn't even have had to have been an interlude. They could have just made it the intro to the next song, but they didn't. It is fine. As for the track, I love that Paul was able to show his diversity as a player on this album and not just, show us what we got up to this point. And he wants to make damn sure that he's going to let you know he can play some fucking blues guitar. And you know what? He fucking can. He can play any style of guitar like a fucking boss. Wow. Dave.
Yeah. Okay. Acoustic guitar blues interlude. I imagine nowadays this guy just plays shit like this all the time. And then, oh, okay, that's the whole song, I guess. But good for them for making it a separate track in case you want to skip before the last song. It is well played. I could have gone for maybe a bridge section or a little more acoustic shredding or something. Like if you're going to have a full track that's specifically a guitar piece, make it worth it. Not just strumming some chords on the back porch in the summertime.
Summertime,
yeah.
their original song.
Ha-cha-cha. But it's good and short enough to sit through if you're just waiting for the next song.
Didn't it feel like the next song though?
Yeah, I mean, I think most bands would have just hooked it with it and made it one track.
I think it was one track, and they're like, "Oh, let's do an 11-song album. Put a pause between this and Shotgun Kiss. Bang,
Sure.
Lisa."
I was actually surprised that it wasn't a direct lead-in to the next song, that it really is its own separate song, and that's like my main note on this. Almost banjo-like in the play. It reminds me of something maybe Aerosmith would have played, or GNR when they went into their acoustic era. Remember, would have played something like this. I like it fine for a blues thing, but I don't particularly like blues guitar playing. I would have preferred myself, and I know you guys totally will not agree with me, I would have preferred a showy electric solo. Totally, something that would really show up. I mean, we already know how great of a player he is, but I would want like a whole like track dedicated to his electric work personally. So
Like Mr. Scary.
Like Mr. Scary.
See,
Yes.
here's the problem. Now, I agree that I, as selfishly as a guitar player and a fan of Paul Di Bartolo, I would have loved that track, but would it have kind of even worked against this album even more?
I don't know.
I think so, just because everybody was doing that.
Yeah.
You know, you have Eruption, you have Mr. Scary, you have, I mean, Tracy Guns did a thing on Cocked and Loaded, and like everybody was doing like an electric solo on their guitar because of Eruption. And so like I feel like it would have made it harder to stand out if he had chosen to do an electric solo.
But I also wonder how good it would have been because he's so good.
It would have been amazing. But the argument against it too is that he left nothing to be discussed at the end of this album. Like, was he really that good? No, he was. We heard it. It's all in there. Just go listen to the tracks. It's all in there. All right. Coming in at track number 11, the final track on the album. And I submit that I would have rather had Spread Eagle be the final track on the album and maybe shuffle this one back to that position. You guys think?
Yeah,
Yes.
we needed a banger on the way out.
Yes. And why not have the title track to the fucking album as the final song? Bad choice. Bad choice.
Spread Eagle. Was it you yesterday that said Spread Eagle on Spread Eagle by Spread Eagle?
You told me that.
Yeah. I texted you with that as Spread Eagle.
Just said that,
on Spread Eagle by Spread Eagle. It's a lot of Spread Eagles.
Good kisses, she ain't shy. There ain't nothing that she won't try. Get up off your knees, bend over backwards for me. Daddy's little baby made a dream come true. 'Cause there ain't nothing she won't do.
So Shotgun Kiss, we pick up right where 42nd Street left off. Like I said, it's literally the same. I think they're even playing the same riff as this one comes in. I don't know, maybe not. Great guitars on this one. Paul is playing some great bass. Like we said earlier, the guy played in UFO. He's so accomplished. He's such a great player, and he really pulls some nice stuff out here. Paul Di Bartolo playing some different guitar, just showing us what he can do as just a straight blues guitar player. And it's really, really good. Really nice backing vocals on this one. You can tell it's the band. Another really good chorus. It's a good track to end the album. I can't look away from the choice of not making it Spread Eagle. It's like, Dave.
This one's bluesy. I'd love to see how accurate I am if I can pick the 5 songs they wrote on this album to get their deal, and then the rest that were rushed out to fill up the album.
Right.
I bet you I know which ones are which. Judging by their 2025 release, Spread Eagle, the 1989 demos, Assuming those were the songs that they started out with, I am almost totally correct with only one surprise. So doing pretty good. So Shotgun Kiss, it's bluesy, has a lot of phrases in the lyrics I've heard in other songs, but it sounds good overall.
Yeah, Lisa, end track, final cut.
I think this song sounds a little more dated than the other songs do, more firmly in the 80s than in the 90s. I feel like it might sound even a little bit like Junkyard or Black Crowes. I think it's quite good. I don't like Southern rock generally, but I do love some Junkyard. I like the 2 layers of guitars working with each other and the bridge on this song, which changes the entire feel and it almost gives it, I want to use the word glam, it almost gives it a little glammy sound for a minute when we go into the bridge. The lyrics, though, everybody's got the wrong impression. Then they try to tell you wrong from right. All you want is a little lovin', get you through the night. A little bit too much rhyming for me. And the funny thing is, it's when you read the lyrics, there's probably too much rhyming. But when Ray delivers them, you don't notice that at all. It gets right by with no problem. Now, here's the thing. On this song, I didn't even notice any of that rhyming until I went to read the lyrics. Like it's like Ray's delivery. I'm not going to say like Tommi because it's a completely different style, but the way he's able to deliver lyrics on all of the songs makes them all better. The album is full of great songs. Some 80s cheese here and there, but when you get it all together with the music, Ray's delivery like completely saves everything for me. So, and shout out to the multiple guitar tracks on this one because you can hear the fantastic rhythm guitar. Reminds me a little bit of Izzy Stradlin here, and at the same time, just enough lead licks playing behind the verses to make it like super fun. And like when there's 2 guitarists in a band and I'm always like, oh, they get to, do the tricks while the one guy carries the song. And in this song, we definitely get the Izzy Stradlin, rhythm guitar, and we get the amazing licks behind everything that just works perfect.
I like that. I liked hearing Paul play with himself like that.
All right. Hey-o.
All right, we're going to end on that. So that ends our discussion on Spread Eagle's debut album, Spread Eagle. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Dave, Lisa, I enjoyed talking about it with you guys like always. Let's head over and we're going to do some favorite tracks, worst tracks, and all the other bullshit that we do at the end of the show. My favorite track was Switchblade's Serenade because it is the best track on the album. Track I would cut would be Hot Sex because it's not sex action. Dave.
Favorite track, Switchblade Serenade, Spread Eagle, very close second. I would cut Hot Sex, unnecessarily cheesy.
Lisa, same questions.
Obviously, Switchblade Serenade, still one of my favorite songs from the entire era. Probably at one, close to the top of my list for this genre of music ever. The one I would cut, 42nd Street. I could care less about bluesy guitars and would have loved to hear an electric solo. I know you guys don't agree. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. All right, if you had to replace one member of the band, who would it be and who would get the gig? So I'm obviously moving Tommi Gallo over for Tommy Lee. No disrespect to Tommi Gallo, but you have to replace someone, and they are interchangeable. I very easily could have slid Duff McKagan in for Rob DeLuca or Jason McMasters for Ray West. So those are my picks, but I'm going with Tommy. Okay.
Well, I said the other guys are too important to the sound of the band and the writing, so I'm going to have to pick on the drummer this time. Tommy did a great job on the album, but what if we sub in another Tommy Lee from Motley Crue?
You guys picked the same one.
It was too easy. It was like fucking shooting fish in a bucket. Lisa.
I feel like this lineup was really perfect, and I hate to have to change it. I know it is the rules, but I really do think these 4 guys did a great job together. The band isn't the same without Ray's vocals. It's not the same without this crazy guitar, and it's not the same without Rob DeLuca's like ripping bass on this whole album. So the only one by default that I can get rid of is Tommi Gallo. So not because there was anything wrong with the drums on that. I didn't think there was. I thought they were great, but I'm giving them Rob Afuso, the original drummer of Skid Row.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, it works great. Perfect.
Yep, East Coast sound and hard, metal hitting. And, he was obviously on the Slave to the Grind album. I think it would have been a great fit.
I mean, Tommy looked way better, but that's fine. Hey, we can
Yeah.
put some stonewashed jeans in this fucking spread eagle.
He can change his look, man. It'll be
Okay.
fine.
All right, let's do some final thoughts and we'll score this thing. So, this is a great metal album. I'm not calling this hair metal because it's not hair metal for me. Band was made up of some seriously talented musicians that were able to mix New York street sleaze with moments of virtuoso musicianship perfectly, intertwining these two styles, which are so hard to fucking jam together, and they did it effortlessly. So for me, this one is pushing 80.1 watts. It's a great album. Dave.
These guys deserved more success than they achieved. Even what I think are the okay songs on the album were at least as good as any other band out there at the time. The great songs on this album should have launched this band to stardom. I wish they had just a little more time to work on making all the songs that same level of great before putting out the album, and before the changing musical landscape put these guys out of fashion. But this one is a New York sleaze metal classic. Yes, I will re-listen. I will score this one a 74.6.
I will also re-listen. Lisa.
This album lives in my head in that place where of bands that didn't get their fair shake. This is one of the bands, like I said, if I meet someone and they like metal and they like sleaze and all of that, they better name this band, they better name Vane, they better name Junkyard, and that's the only way that I know that they're cool. And if they don't, they're posers. I wasn't really surprised how much I remembered on this album because I still listen to it to this day, and I even especially revisited it when we saw them last year. I was playing the album kind of constantly back then. The current album from 2026 wasn't out yet at the time that we saw them play. I have now, of course, listened to the second album and the third album, which came in between 1993 and 2019. But the current album, I really love this one. I think maybe better than those two center albums. I'm upset they didn't get promotion from MCA that they deserved. I'm upset that MCA kind of screwed them and maybe even screwed their taste in music scene. It actually scared Ray away from music for a while. Paul ended up moving to India because he didn't want to deal with that crap anymore. So fuck MCA for fucking up this band. These guys should have been superstars. I'm glad we have the videos that we do. I'm glad we have the music that we do. All of the music aged really well. And they have a lot of great musicians, a great singer. They looked great. I don't understand how they slipped under the radar. I think they were kind of robbed of what they were due. Definitely go out and buy their newest album, The Brutal Divine. You'll find a band that has matured quite a bit, still has the cutting edge, still has the East Coast grit, far more heavy than you would expect. But I'd put it up there with the top albums released by bands who started in the late 80s and early 90s. Fun fact, they rely on human-created music. There's no AI on their album at all, even though it came out in 2026. They do use new music recording technology and production, but everything they're playing, they're actually playing. There's no AI here at all. And to be honest, this goth girl is still loving it. So again, this debut album, one of my favorite albums from the time period. I'm giving it a 96.1, and I do still listen to it.
Add it up. Where's this thing fucking landing? Where's this
Okay,
eagle land?
Spread Eagle, their debut self-titled 1990 album, lands at number 17 on our chart with a total score of 83.60, putting it, what a weird spot this is, just below Vane No Respect and just above Junkyard 6s, 7s, and 9s. How crazy is that?
You know how crazy it is? It's crazy because fucking 6s, 7s, and 9s is fucking one of the greatest albums ever. Holy
It's
shit.
crazy like a fox.
Wow, what a wild place for that to end up. Perfect spot.
That Junkyard album should be above everything. Okay.
Well,
Except
to
maybe
be
the
fair,
first one.
again, the top of our chart is the big hitters, right? It's
I
LA
know.
Guns, it's Ozzy Osbourne, it's Motley Crue.
Fucking Junkyard, man. I want those two albums, 1 and 2. Okay. Okay. Dave, Mr. Dave, you have got the next pitch. The next pitch? Gonna throw
I
the
got
first
what?
pitch out? You want to throw the pitch out? Throw the pitch out. Throw the pitch out. Tell us what we're going to be listening to do for 2 weeks.
All right. So for next time, it's going to be from 1992. Izzy Stradlin and the Juju Hounds.
Oh.
The first Izzy Stradlin solo album.
I don't think
Nice.
I've ever heard that all the way through.
You
Really?
may not like it so much.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I remember there was a single from that album that I loved.
Yeah. Okay.
In the era of Black Crowes and
Yeah.
you know,
That's
harkening back to Choir Boys, Fuck You Gary Evan, and all of that.
That's what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you little twat.
Anyway, so there's that, and then should they have made it? From 2025, a band called Sybil, Sybil, and their song is called "Murder on My Mind," the James Ray remaster. And there was a article on Metal Sludge about this album that came out.
What style of music is it?
It's glam.
Glam in 2025?
It's
amazing.
I believe it's older material that was
re-released,
remixed.
Oh, it's a remaster. Okay, I understand. Great.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't 100% know the full story on it, but I figured we'd give it a shot.
Spoiler alert, me likey Izzy Stradlin. For my next one, I want to, what do you guys think? Fucking Motley Crue, Girls, or Dr. Feelgood? I mean, I'm thinking some Motley again.
I like Girls better than Dr. Feelgood.
I'd rather go with Girls.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do Girls. So I think we're gonna pencil that in. It's a pencil. I have an eraser, but maybe. Okay. On our sister podcast, Hey, did you ever see that movie? We will be continuing our Friday the 13th retrospective with part 4 because it's just, dude, like for some reason, the Hey, did you ever see that movie franchise has like 8 times in size, starting with the Friday. 160 episodes. We do Friday the 13th, and suddenly it's like all the fucking outlets just opened up the faucets, and we're pouring like on my stats thing. We were up 258% in listens and 280% in fucking listen time duration. Like between Friday the 13th part 1 and now, it was just like. So we're gonna do them all. We do fucking 13 of them. I don't give a shit. We're going to space. We're gonna break dance. We're gonna fight fucking Freddy Krueger. We're doing it all. I can't wait. Okay, until next time, take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you next time.